We see a stupid teenage boy in a classroom, and students are seated and writing exams. The inscription on the board says, Senior High School Entrance Examination. The boy introduces himself as Mo Fan and says he is a 9th grader. He says that the Senior High School Entrance Examination has almost driven him mad, and it is not because he is a bad student, but because the exam was on magic. The boy is the first to leave the exam premises. The bell rings, and students pour out of the school premises. He says that ever since he fell asleep with a pendant 3 months before, everything has changed for him. He says that all everybody talks about is magic. A group of boys walking behind him talk about him, saying that since he turned in his exam script early, he must not have understood the subject matter. Mo-fan gets to the school entrance and stops in his tracks. One in particular stands out to him. He approaches an elderly man wearing a white shirt and pacing around and asks him what he is doing there. The man is his father, and he replies that he is there to pick Mo-fan up. He asks Mo-fan how his exam went, and Mo-fan thinks to himself that his exam was a mess. He says he studied for 3 months, but the exam covered 9 years of material, and seems to think that the odds were already stacked against him, and he has no hope of passing. His father tells him not to worry, and that he has found him a job as a driver in the neighboring city. He says his uncle Guangfeng will teach him, and the pay is good at 4,000 to 5,000 per month. He tells Mo-fan that starting working when you are young is not bad. Mo-fan tells his father that he wants to study to be a mage. His father acknowledges his desires, tells him that he knows Mo-fan has plans that do not involve being a driver like him, and tells him that he knows that his exam scores are not high enough to meet the entry requirement. Mo-fan tells his father that he is serious about his ambition. He says to himself that he doesn't want to be a loser in any world, whether the old world or the magic world. His father tells him he will think about it if he's serious. Mo-fan is happy, and he thanks his father and promises to become a great mage who is respected by everyone. His father laughs, takes him by the hand, and steers him home. He walks with a younger boy, Xiao Hu, who tells him that someone called Mu Ningshui has come back from the capital. He says he saw her that morning, and she is even prettier than before. Mo-fan gives a non-committal response, and the boy is shocked. He comments on the fact that Mo-fan did not respond, and Mo-fan asks him how he is supposed to respond. He asks Mo-fan if he is excited, and Mo-fan does not respond again. Mo-fan and the younger boy pass by the gates of a large house. Mo-fan is interested in the two men standing and talking by the gate. One of the men is Mo-fan's father, and he is begging the other man to use his influence to get Mo-fan admitted to the magic school. The man brings up Mo-fan's crime of trying to elope with the heiress of the Mu family, and asks why he should help him. His father admits that it is Mo-fan's fault, and begs for help on the grounds of his faithful service to the Mu family. The man refuses to help him, and scolds No-fan's father. His father vows to do anything for help. The man says he will consider helping Mo-fan if his father pledges his house to him. He wants the land. Mo-fan's father pledges the house to the man. Mo-fan stands outside the gate, watching the negotiation. That evening over dinner, Mo-fan's father tells him the good news that he has been admitted into magic school. Mo-fan looks sad at the news. His father also adds that he will be renting the house out and gives an excuse. Mo-fan perks up and lays out his big plans, and his father laughs. Later, Mo-fan writes Mu Ningshui's name in his notebook. He thinks back to the time when she approached him and told him to go away with her. It earns his father a harsh scolding from her father and a warning to break Mo-fan's legs if he sees Mu Ningshui again. It is the first day at Sky Magic High School. The new students are welcomed into the school. They are nervous because it is their magic awakening day as well. The boys talk about what magic talents they would like to have. In Class 8 Grade 1, the teacher tells them what to expect from a magic awakening. They each get a badge, and when their magic wakes, the badge will change to its corresponding color. He explains that cyan corresponds to wind, red corresponds to fire, and gold corresponds to light. As soon as the teacher stops speaking, a boy's pendant begins to glow. When the teacher gets to Mo-fan's desk, he introduces himself. One of the boys starts to tease him about how he got into the school. Someone stands up for him. Just then, Mu Bai is called up to awaken his magic. He puts his hand on the crystal, and it glows blue. He has the ice talent. The teacher explains that the stars on the badges show the strength of their talents. The students marvel at Mu Bai. The boys go up one by one to awaken their magic. Mo-fan goes up and puts his hand on the crystal ball. He is transported to a realm with different colors in front of him. He thinks that his light is glowing purple. His light glows red instead, but nobody is there to see it because they are distracted by the awakening of a thunder talent in the next class. Everyone is excited about the thunder talent awakening. The boy who awakened it is called Shu Jiaoting. Someone mentions that barely 1 in 1,000 people can awaken the thunder talent. Mo-fan's teacher is one of the spectators and says that the thunder talent's teacher must be thrilled to have a thunder in his class, as it is the most powerful element. Mo-fan's eyes open, and he finds out that he is left alone in his class, and he thinks that he has time traveled again. The orb under his hand is burning. He exclaims that it is so hot and he realizes that he has awakened the fire talent. He flashes back to his time in the Stardust realm and thinks he has awakened both the fire and thunder talents at the same time. His classmates walk into class. They wonder why he is still standing with his hand on the crystal ball. They start to mock him and then see the orb shining red. They are surprised that Mo-fan has awakened the fire talent. His teacher walks to him and confirms that he has indeed awakened the fire talent. He tells Mo-fan this, and Mo-fan is surprised. His classmates are perplexed and ask each other how a loser such as Mo-fan was able to awaken the fire talent. The boy that sits in front of him congratulates him, saying only 2 people in their class have awakened the fire talent. Mu-bai is annoyed by this development. Mo-fan is amused that his act of awakening the fire talent has caused much fuss among the class, and thinks about boasting to them that he is a genius and has awakened both the thunder and fire talents with the odds of a 1 in 1,000, but decides to keep it hidden. He says if his classmates knew that he had awakened thunder before, their jaws would drop. He crows in triumph mentally, but keeps a straight face with his classmates. 2 months later, the class is being lectured on Stardust in the audio-visual classroom. The teacher tells them that Stardust will form their spiritual world after their talents awake. He tells them that there are 7 stars in the Stardust that revolve around at will, and if they concentrate on controlling them with their minds and making their random movements follow strict orbits, it will mean they have completed the magic release. He says the process is like playing dominoes. He tells the students that once they lose control of any particular star, they will have to start over. This means that they have to connect the orbits of all 7 stars at once. The teacher calls up Mu-bai to give a demonstration. He succeeds in controlling 5 of the stars, and his teacher is pleased. He compliments Mu-bai and points out that the 5 stars on his badge are glowing. He explains that Mu-bai was able to connect 5 stars at the same time while practicing. The teacher tells them that if they can connect all 7 stars at the same time, they will summon the ice power of creeping ice. He tells them to make Mu-bai their role model and to work hard. The students agree that Mu-bai is amazing, and they compare themselves to him. They talk about how hard it is to control stars. Their teacher reminds them that difficulty in controlling stars is proportional to their ability and the effort they put in. He tells them they need to use their minds to control every single star. Just then, the bell rings, and they taunt Mo-fan for having only 1 star. His friend comes to his rescue, and some girls laugh at him and call him a loser. Mo-fan walks out of the room. On his way home, he walks past a girls' school. He makes his way to Nanshan Temple, where he decides to practice. His aura grows purple, and he fails to connect the last star. He leaves that place and runs to a playground where he sees his sister Xingxia waiting on the swings. He calls out to her, and they greet each other. He looks around and sees some rough people on the playground. It appears they are bullying Xingxia. Mo-fan makes his way to them. The leader has taken her wheelchair and says he will give it back when Xingxia decides to be his girlfriend. The rough boys talk about Xingxia. Mo-fan approaches them and calls out to them. They ask him if he thinks he is a match for 4 of them. They taunt him, and the leader tells Mo-fan that his sister should be glad that he likes her. They tell him to get lost, and he takes steps backwards to fight. He connects the 7 stars and gets the thunder power. He sends the thunder forth to them and electrocutes them all. They are scared because he is a mage, and they surrender to him. He tells them to get lost, and they do. His sister is stunned. He brings her wheelchair over to her, and she tells him that he is amazing. Over in Mu-bai's house, his uncle asks him how his studies are going. He tells him that he can control 5 stars. His uncle tells him that if he performs well this time, he will find a way to get the star bracelet for him. Mu-bai promises to work hard, and his father tells him that the final exam will be a great time, and that the heiress of the Mu family will be there, so he needs to make her remember him. The man asks after Mo-fan. Mu-bai reports that Mo-fan cannot control 1 star, and that he is at the bottom of the class. They plot to kick Mo-fan out if he fails the exams because they think he is ordinary. Mu-bai praises his uncle. Mo-fan is in the bath when he remembers his aunt's admonition. He thinks about how monsters surround the city and how dangerous it is for his father to work outside the city. Mo-fan concludes that mastering thunder magic will help him master fire magic. He tries to connect the stars in his fire magic and only manages to heat his bathwater and burn himself. He leaps out of the bath and gets dressed. Just then his sister comes to inform him that their aunt prepared cakes. She asks him why his skin is so red, and he says his bathwater was too hot. Xingxia tells him that she never expected him to master the Wrath of Thunder so quickly. She asks him how he was able to master it in under 6 months, and asks if he approached the Black Curia. He does not know what that is, and she explains that it is a cult that helps people master their talents easily. He tells her he awakened his thunder first, and he practices privately, and no one knows about it. He wheels Xingxia back to her room and thinks about what she asked him. He says that since he can only reveal fire in front of others, thunder will be his trump card. He decides to practice fire for his exams. Mo Fan walks into a class and is surprised to see people already occupying most of the seats. He turns around and comes face to face with a beautiful woman. His mouth drops open and she tells him to find a seat. She introduces herself as Tang Yue, their new practical magic teacher. She asks the students how many of them have awoken fire. They stand up. Mo Fan's classmates tease him. Tang Yue sends a fireball at the target dummy and incinerates it. She says that the spell she cast is level 1 fire magic called Fire Burst, and it is one of the strongest spells in element magic. The students are amazed and Mo Fan is excited. Mubai and his uncle stand beside a swimming pool in a luxury compound. Mubai asks his uncle if he wants to force Mo Fan to quit. He tells his uncle that he doesn't think that Mo Fan is incompetent. He tells his uncle that he thought only students who scored a D on the final exams were eligible to quit. His uncle says he has a backup plan. He brings a black pill from his suit pocket and shows it to Mubai. Mubai asks his uncle what it is, and he tells him that it is a dark stone, which can absorb magical energy and the light of the crystal ball. He says the stone is sure to make Mo Fan do poorly in the exam and score even worse than a D. Mubai asks him if the stone will affect everyone, since they are all using the same crystal ball. His uncle tells him that it won't happen, and that the examiner works for him and will check the crystal ball before each student takes the test, and will apply the stone when it's Mo Fan's turn and take it away before the next student comes up for their exam. Mubai says his uncle is clever. His uncle says that Mo Fan has offended the Mu family, and they can't let him get away with it. They both laugh evilly. Mo Fan stands in the practical magic classroom and tries to control the stars with his fire magic. He is only able to control 5 stars, which burn out quickly, and he is dejected because the end-of-year exam is in less than a month. He lies back on the floor of the practice room. He thinks that if he can harness his full fire power, he will be able to impress the Mu family. He gets up and tries again, but finds out that his magic energy is depleted. He thinks his powers are not strong enough and sits to meditate. He tries again to connect the stars and gets 5. The next day, the teacher talks about the crystal ball. He says it is a magic stone that measures magical powers. He says that the brighter the stone glows, the more power the person holds. He explains that the students will be graded based on their brightness, with A as the highest mark and D as the lowest. He reminds them that students who get a D will be forced to leave the school. Mubai asks if magic release will be tested. The teacher says it is not compulsory, and adds that any student able to do it will be moved to the elite class and receive a star bracelet. Mubai says the star bracelet will be his. The final exam day has come. Students line up in the courtyard waiting for the exam to start. Mo Fan stands at the back of the line, which means he will be the last person to be tested. The principal ascends the stage with Mr. Mu, Professor Mu, and Mu Ningshui. Ningshui looks bored with the proceedings and keeps a straight face. The principal gives a speech and introduces Professor Mu and Mu Ningshui as their special guests. Professor Mu gives a speech and says he is excited to meet the new generation of mages. A boy remarks on Ningshui's beauty, which sparks a discussion surrounding her gifts and pedigree. Mubai smirks at her and plots against Mo Fan. He thinks that he will force him to drop out in front of Ningshui and cause Mo Fan to be embarrassed. The principal thanks Professor Mu for his speech and calls up Ningshui to demonstrate her magic. She places her hand on the crystal ball, freezes it, and cracks it open. Mo Fan asks himself when she became so powerful. After her demonstration, the exam starts with the first student called up to the dais. The exam is well underway, and students are nervous. Mr. Zhu comforts a student who thinks she will be kicked out because she is so sure she will get a D in the exam. When her name is called, she puts her hand in the crystal ball and it shines brightly. The student gets an A on the test. Xiao Hao goes up to take his test and also gets an A grade. He tells his teacher he would like to try the magic release and his teacher permits him. Xiao Hu tries hard, but does not get his magic to hit the target. He comes down from the dais looking dejected and Tang Yue comforts him, and he blushes and promises to try harder next time. Mubai goes up for his test. He aces it effortlessly and gets an S grade. His friends brag about him and he asks to try his hand at magic release. He aligns his stars, achieves creeping ice, and gets a B for his magic release. Everyone marvels over him, and Professor Mu asks Ningshui and her father what they think of Mubai. Ningshui says he is okay. This is not what Professor Mu wants to hear. Mo Fan is called up. Professor Mu wants Ningshui to go home, but she doesn't want to. She wants to stay and watch Mo Fan's test. Professor Mu sends a signal to his accomplice, who goes up to put the stone beneath the crystal ball. Mo Fan touches the crystal ball, and the stone absorbs his magic, sending him and his teacher into a panic, thinking that there is something wrong with his magic. His classmates taunt and mock him, and everyone thinks he's weak. Professor Mu says his prospects are slim. and he can never be a mage with such weak light. Mo-fan tries again. The stone breaks, and he gets a B grade. Everyone is perplexed, including Mu-bai. Tang Yue is suspicious about the circumstances surrounding Mo-fan's exam. She stands up for him and demands that Mo-fan be tested again. They try to dissuade her and tell her that if she is wrong, she will have to take responsibility. She agrees to take responsibility in the event anything goes wrong with the retest. Ning Sui agrees with Tang Yue's assessment and also calls for a retest. They agree with her and bring a replacement crystal ball. Mo-fan takes the test again and gets an S grade, which shocks everyone. Xiaohu is elated about Mo-fan's grade. Tang Yue commends Mo-fan, and he asks to try a magic release. Mu-bai is upset that Mo-fan beat him. Mo-fan's magic release is spectacular. Mo-fan's magic release incinerates the target and earns him an A for magic release. This sets everyone talking, and they say that no one else managed to get an A for magic release. Xiaohu is excited and tells Mo-fan that he is the best. The principal asks the Mu brothers if Mo-fan used to be a member of their family. They explain that he was just the son of their chauffeur. The principal says that Mo-fan has spared no effort to nurture his talent since he achieved such high grades without family backing. He says Mo-fan has potential. Mr. Mu calls Mo-fan over and tells him that his performance has changed his view of him. He tells him to forget the past and offers him fire magic gear from the Mu family to help him harness his powers better. He also accepts him into the Mu family. Professor Mu asks about Mu-bai, and Mr. Mu tells him to make Mu-bai work harder. Mo-fan rejects Mr. Mu's offer in a very vocal way, which sets him off on a rant. The principal tells Mo-fan to apologize to Mr. Mu, and Mo-fan tells the principal of how Mr. Mu's gang broke into his house and injured his father for no just cause. He asks Mr. Mu to apologize. Mo-fan is scolded by Mr. Mu, and Professor Mu urges them to expel Mo-fan. The principal says that only one can expel his student with his permission. Mu-bai says that if Mo-fan does not apologize, he will fight him instead and beat respect into him, so he will learn to respect his elders. Mr. Mu offers Yuang to fight on his behalf. The principal tries to get Mo-fan to apologize, but Mo-fan says he should first apologize to his father. He says he will apologize if he loses the duel, but if Mr. Mu loses, he has to apologize to his father. Tang Yue says that the Mage Association forbids dueling between underage mages, and if there is to be a duel, it is to be in 2 years. Mr. Mu agrees to the duel in 2 years, and tells Ning Sui to follow him. She gives him a small smile before she leaves. Xiaohu tells Mo-fan that Yu Ang is more powerful than Mu-bai. He says he will handle him. He thinks that he needs to work harder. Mo-fan's father drives a truck, and Mo-fan vows to restore his dignity. It is September and the beginning of a new semester at Sky Magic High School. The elite class is taught by Shui Musheng and Tang Yue. They welcome the students to the class. Student numbers are given according to grades, so Mo-fan is number 1, and Mu-bai is number 2. Shu Zhaoting is number 3. Tang Yue addresses the class, and all the boys are enamored with her beauty. She tells them she will be teaching the practical magic class and asks for their cooperation. They talk about the star bracelet. Musheng tells them that they will take turns using it according to their grades. He tells them that the top 3 students will be able to use it for a month each. He tells Mo-fan that his punishment for openly insulting Mr. Mu is that he can only use the bracelet for 10 days. After 10 days, the bracelet will be passed on to someone else. He tells them that the class only has 3 bracelets to share. Someone points out that students with poor grades will not get the chance to use it. The rules for using the bracelet are established, with expulsion and banishment as the penalty for damaging a bracelet or returning it late. Mo-fan thinks about the star bracelet. He gives his all to target practice, and so does Mu-bai, who plots how to become the head of the class by using the star bracelet. Mo-fan picks a fight with Mai-bai and gets information on Yuang and the star bracelet. Mu-bai says that only Mu Ning Shui has received a star spirit bracelet to practice with. The spirit bracelet can increase progress by 40%, as opposed to the star bracelet, which can only give a 20% increase in magical progress. Mo-fan walks away from Mu-bai and thinks about the level 2 fire burst. He sits and holds the star bracelet, and his pendant is drawn to it. He puts it on, and his pendant swallows the bracelet. Just then, Tang Yue asks him what he is doing. He asks her what she is doing there, and she goes right to the heart of the matter. She tells him that he has lost the star bracelet, and they will kick him out. She tells him to be honest with her, so she can help him. He tells her his pendant ate the bracelet. She takes the bracelet from him and asks him where he got it from. He tells her it's a family heirloom. She asks if he has shown it to anyone, and he says no. She tells him that his pendant is also magical gear, and that he needs to feed it. She explains that it can absorb energy and upgrade itself to the spirit level. Mo-fan understands why his magical ability is progressing faster. He tells her to keep it, and she says he needs to hide it. She tells him that the pendant will grow at the expense of magical gear and spirits. She says she will settle the matter of the lost bracelet, and that he owes her one. Mo-fan thinks she helped him, because she is attracted to him. He talks to the pendant and kisses it. The students set off on a field trip to the Snowy Peak outpost, which is the end of the safe zone. Beyond it, there are monsters. They watch an informational video about the outpost. The students speculate about the monsters, but Mo-fan thinks about his fire stardust. The students get to the purpose and are greeted by their instructor. They are expected to participate in a bounty hunt to earn a grade. The teachers try to negotiate a better assignment, but the instructor does not budge. He challenges the students and scolds them for getting cold feet. The reward for completing the task is magic armor. The students are amazed at the reward. The students make their way up a rock formation. They exclaim that it is high up, and they choose Xiaohu to scout for them. He uses his wind power to jump down the cliff and helps them tie their rope to a tree. A student walks through what looks like harmless vibes, and the vines restrain him. Mubai uses his ice power to freeze the vines, and he breaks through. The rest of the class follows suit. They get to another wall of vines, and a girl with fire magic burns them down. Mo-fan leads a group, and Mubai's friend taunts him. They get to a cave that is said to be the home of one-eyed wolf demons. Their task is to inspect the cave to see if there are any demons, and to retrieve their instructor's lost bracelet. They are confused as to what kind of mission it is, and some students are scared. They are determined to slay the demons together, since there are more mages than demons. The instructors and teachers receive a report from an officer on the students' progress. The teachers are relieved that he sent someone with them. They ask him if there is a demon in the cave, and he says that there is something in the cave. Tang Yue says that the students have been given a good chance to learn. She wonders about the thing in the cave, and the instructor tells her that the students have to understand what it means to be a mage. He assures her that he knows what he is doing. Tang Yue is concerned about Mo-fan and his ability to release magic when confronted with danger. The students rappel down a cliff. One female student asks the other if she's not scared. Zhou Min tells her that they will all fail unless they accomplish the task, and if they fail, they won't be able to get into a good magic college. Mo-fan calls Zhou Min out on the quality of her pep talk, and Mubai's friend says that Mubai will freeze the monster with his creeping ice. He tells them to follow Mubai's lead. They are heartened and decide to follow Mubai. Mubai's friend decides to give everyone takes according to their magical ability. He tells those with wind talent to scout, and those with light talent to provide illumination for the mission. They descend into the caves in a single file. Mo-fan stays back and looks intently at the pond close to the cave. Xiaohu runs over to him and asks if he is looking for fish. He tells Xiaohu to look at the water in the pond. He explains to him that the pond should have been filled with water because of the rain, but it is only half full. Xiaohu thinks the water evaporates because of the weather. Mo-fan points out to Xiaohu that the water line is still visible, but half of the water in the pond is gone. He says it means that something from the cave drank the missing water, and judging from the quantity of water it drank, it must be really big. Xiaohu gets scared and goes to warn the others. They do not believe him and make fun of him. They tell him to stay outside the cave if he is too scared, and that he will still get to pass the test if the others finish it for him. The students walk through the cave and find a wolf demon. They all panic and run away because of its size. Mubai tries to attack the demon, but his magic gives out and he runs away. Zhou Min tries to attack the demon, but before she can, Mo-fan scoops her away. The instructor laughs at the students. One of them confesses that the wild in the cave is his pet. The head instructor says that a one-eyed wolf demon is fiercer than his pet. He says that if the students had met a real monster, they would have all died. The head instructor says that he didn't expect them to beat the archwolf, he just hoped that would release some magic at the very least. The teachers like the idea of testing the students using a pet. They say it offers a real experience without putting the students in danger. The instructor says that since it seems that none of the students are up to the task, the head instructor can hang on to his magic armor. They see light flashing from the cave, and the teacher says it must be Mubai. The head instructor agrees and says that he is gifted. The archwolf confronts Mubai and he stands his ground. He transforms into armor and tries to use his creeping ice. As the students get out of the cave, they find that their rope is gone. Mo-fan brings Zhou Min out and she runs back inside the cave. She activates her fire magic and sends a fire burst at the archwolf. It explodes at his feet and it pounces on Zhou Min. Xu Jiaoting pushes her out of the way and unleashes his thunder magic. It falls on the beast and it roars at them. Mubai tries to release magic, but the wolf charges at him and he falls. The students get even more scared. Mo-fan realizes that level 1 magic cannot hurt the wolf, so he decides to turn up the heat. He sends a fire burst at the creature. The creature bursts into flame and flies out of the cave and into the pond. The teacher assesses the magic and comments on it. Yue says that the cremation magic can burn bones, and that the archwolf must be badly hurt. The head instructor is impressed and tells Bai Yang to call his wolf off. Bai Yang tries to do that, but reports that his wolf is not responding. The teachers are alarmed and afraid for the students' welfare. The instructors spread their wings and prepare to fly to the students. The archwolf comes out of the the water, teeth bared, and ready to attack. Xiaohu saves the girl from becoming a snack for the wolf, and she thanks him profusely. The students outside the cave cower in fear. Xiaohu distracts the wolf by running past it. The wolf decides to follow him and finds Mo Fan. The wolf notices him and attacks him with a puff of air. He understands that the wolf will kill them if it continues. The strongest students were not able to contain the wolf. Xiaohu saves Mo Fan and carries them deeper into the cave. The students vote to run away when they see the wolf chase after Xiaohu and Mo Fan. Jo Min suggests that they go after them. Just then, the head instructor swoops in on his wings and asks where the wolf is. Jo Min tells him that the wolf followed Mo Fan and Xiaohu into the cave. Tong Yue explains that they drew the wolf farther into the cave so no one would get hurt. The wolf chases the boys through the cave, and they end up in front of a pond. It looks like a dead end, and the wolf pounces when it sees them. It blasts them with its hot air and manages to hit Xiaohu. Mo Fan is upset and unleashes his thunder on the wolf. It slows the wolf down only slightly. Mo Fan activates his fire magic and causes a stalactite to impale the wolf. The wolf falls and dies. An orb comes out of the wolf, and Mo Fan's pendant eats it. He runs to Xiaohu, who is bleeding from his head. Just then, the head instructor comes in with his wings and sees the dead archwolf. He is surprised that they killed it. He says that there is no way Mo Fan's fire magic killed it. Mo Fan says that he broke the stalactite to kill the wolf. The head instructor sighs and tells them that he thought they were dead. He goes on to tell them that he never thought a high school student could manage to kill a beast as strong as the one-eyed wolf demon. Mo Fan tells him that they need to get Xiaohu to safety because he is hurt. The man asks him how he did it. He asks for Xiaohu to be saved first. The head instructor carries Xiaohu out to meet the others. The teacher asks about the archwolf, and he tells him that it is dead. The archwolf's owner does not believe this and runs to see. He gets annoyed and blames the head instructor, who tells him that the wolf died before he came on the scene. Zhao Ting asks how Mo Fan and Xiaohu are still alive if he didn't kill the wolf. The head instructor says that they were the ones who killed the wolf, and it was Mo Fan who did the deed. Everyone erupts in disbelief. Tang Yue asks Mo Fan if he killed the wolf. Mo Fan narrates the story and says that he didn't know it was only a test. Tang Yue explains that it was supposed to be a test, but the archwolf got out of control and tried to kill them. She commends him for leading the wolf away and protecting the students. The head instructor commends Mo Fan for killing the wolf and saving the students. Bai Yang is inconsolable about the death of his pet. The students are excited and praise Mo Fan. Tang Yue tells them to thank Mo Fan for preventing more bloodshed. She also lets them know that if the archwolf intended to kill them from the beginning, the people who couldn't release magic would all be dead. She tells them that the monsters they will face are bloodthirsty creatures who show no mercy. The head instructor says he is not happy with their overall performance, and that only a few of them put up a fight against the wolf. He mentions Mu Bai, Zhao Ting, Jo Min, and Xiao Ho. He says they did well, but will only receive an A. He gives Mo Fan an S. Another instructor reminds him of his promise of magic armor. He says Mo Fan deserves the armor. Tang Yue says that all the students will receive an A because the task was passed successfully. The students are overjoyed and toss Mo Fan up. Outside the cave, the students stand and watch as the head instructor gives Mo Fan a plaque for completing the task. He asks Mo Fan to join them after he graduates. Mo Fan balks at the offer and asks for his armor. The head instructor thinks about Mo Fan and how he killed the archwolf. He remembers that the ground under the wolf was scorched. He goes to examine the scene again and receives a report that bone wolf demons have been spotted in the west. He orders his men to take up arms and find and kill the wolves. Mo Fan sits on the rooftop. He thinks aloud to himself, saying Jo Min's fire seed burns, and that even if it hits the spirit wolf, it would burn the fur at most. He feels that it is the second level magic that can hurt monsters. He says he doesn't know what it would take to cultivate Lei Yin to the second level. After all, Lei is the strongest element. He says he hopes to practice his lightning, as he did in the fire department. Above all, he hopes to improve. He reminisces on his fight with the spirit wolf, and concludes that with the power of his current magic, it would be very difficult to kill the spirit wolf. He hopes the spiritual stardust magic weapon can increase his cultivation speed by 40%. He continues to think of ways to improve his abilities, remembering all the things teacher Tang Yue teaches. On the notice board, recruitment to join the city hunting team, a team of hunter mages who'd hunt down a ferocious wolf. Huge price money is given, and the rookies are advised not to venture, as it could be deadly. Mo Fan desires to enroll. Despite being a young hunter, he finds a long line of other people seeking to enroll as well. Mo Fan thinks of a way to go into the city, to find a faster way to join the city hunting team. The man Mo Fan is speaking with by the announcement board tells him that the fire department is the most sought after. Mo Fan asks him about the thunder department, and the man tells him that there are only a few thunder systems and thousands of mages. Mo Fan inquires if the city hunting team took people who had thunder, And the man responds by saying that if a person has the thunder element, it doesn't matter if the person is a rookie or veteran, he is the target of any team. Mo Fan walks away after hearing this, heading for the long line of people. Inside the hunting team's office are stacks of paper lying on the table. The captain of the hunting team is angry at the amount of ineligible applications he has received thus far. He shouts and is angry that only rookies and inexperienced mages are sending in applications. He quarrels with his subordinate, telling him what he wants is an elite mage with excellent experience, strength, adaptability, and psychological quality. His subordinate says people with such talents are too few. As it gets to Mo Fan's turn on the queue, he steps forward to the team of interviewers. He introduces himself as Fan Mo so that no one would know who he is. The interviewer tells Fan Mo that generally, only intermediate hunters are eligible to sign up. She tells him that he hasn't even obtained the hunter qualification certificate. Fan Mo tells them that he heard they were recruiting lightning mages, and they affirm. Soon they realize that he wasn't even a junior hunter. He tells them that he has the thunder element. They are surprised, and he further tells them that he belongs to the Ray family. They doubt him, so he puts forth his hand, and he shows them the thunder element, falling from his hands as lightning. They are all surprised at it. People in the queue are all amazed, and they make side comments. The interviewers ask him to wait while they inquire from the captain about Fan Mo. The captain swings the door open, comes out, and announces that Fan Mo is now a member of the Bow City Monster Hunting Team. The captain tells people in the queue that they have found what they were looking for. They are no longer conducting interviews, and they can all go away. The captain introduces the team to Fan Mo. He introduces Kai Teng as an ice mage. He realizes that Kai Teng is also the vice captain, and also Mu Ningshui's cousin. She tells him that although he is a thunder, he should try not to be a burden, as they only need elites on their team. The captain goes on to introduce other people on the team. Xiaokei as the water mage. Someone comes into the room and whispers something into Captain's ears. Kai Teng asks if it is another monster. Captain then tells the team that there is an attack at Inscription Girl School, the school Mo Fan's sister, Xingxia, attends, and it is unusual for it to happen. The captain tells Fan Mo to go home, that they'd have his joining party some other time, as an emergency just came up at Inscription Girls School. Fan Mo insists he follows them, since he is now a member of their team. They consent to his coming, and they all step out of the room together. In the car, as the hunting team heads towards the school, the team engages in light conversations. Fan Mo tries to call Xingxia to check up on her, but she doesn't pick up the call. He tries a couple more times, and she still doesn't respond. He becomes worried for her and hopes she is alright. As they arrive at the school, the captain gives different instructions to the team, intending to cover the large expanse of the school within the shortest time. He tells Fan Mo to go to the cafeteria, so they all spread out in their search through the school. As Mo Fan scouted the cafeteria, Xingxia called him, telling him that the school was evacuated in an emergency. She says she left her phone in the dormitory, so she is calling from a public phone. Xingxia says she's fine, but she feels there's something in the school. She says that at that time, she passed a female classmate on the way back to the dormitory, and that the female classmate went to another place. She says she should have stopped her and warned her. Mo Fan tells her she should protect herself first, before someone else. He then asks her where the girl went. She replies, saying she went to the old canteen. Immediately, he hears a sound behind him. He turns to see what is there, and he finds a one-eyed orangutan. While he is still on the call, the one-eyed orangutan fires at him from its eyes. Mo Fan dodges and lands on the floor, while the laser lands on the window, and it breaks. The one-eyed orangutan continues to chase him around the cafeteria. He tries to fight back, but to no avail. The other team members hear the disturbing sound from the cafeteria. They figure out that Fan Mo must have found the creature they were looking for, and they all run toward the cafeteria to help him. Fan Mo lays on the floor, exhausted. The monster fires at him, and this time Xiaokei uses her water element to shield him from the laser. The rest of the team enter the cafeteria and join hands to fight the one-eyed orangutan. Yuang rhetorically asks the orangutan if he wants to harm someone with this little skill. As Fan Mo, the orangutan continues to fire at them from its eyes. The captain fires at the monster. The one-eyed orangutan continues to dodge and run away. They continue in their effort until the captain finally uses the third-level fire seed. The fire seed bursts to shoot at the orangutan. The orangutan falls to the ground in defeat. They begin to congratulate themselves on their success, celebrating their victory. Unknown to them, the monster whom they think is dead stands up all of a sudden and attacks Kai Teng. Mo Fan steps up and uses his Lei Yin Python mark to strike the orangutan, thereby destroying the monster finally. The captain asks Xiaokei to not let her guard down, as her role as a water mage is to protect every member of the team, and her job is to make sure everyone is okay. The captain tells Mo Fan that he is promoted to being a full member of the team because of his ability to save Kai Teng from the one-eyed orangutan. Just as they leave, a yellow circular orb thingy rises from the monster and enters captures Mo Fang's amulet, but none of the team members see it. Fei Shi tells the captain that they haven't found the missing girl. He goes on to say that there is a hole in the back kitchen of the cafeteria. The hole is very deep, and there are many footprints of giant-eyed orangutans. The captain replies, saying he thinks the other giant-eyed gorilla dragged the girl into the cave. Keitang concludes that she must be in danger. Yuang suggests that they go down to the cave, but instead, the captain instructs that they notify the people of the Magic Association to tell them that the matter is out of their control. Zayose wonders why there are so many giant-eyed orangutans running out at once. As they get into their vehicle and head back, they receive word from the Magic Association stating that they have taken over the matter, and it wouldn't be long before they receive news. The captain says he didn't expect Fanmo to react so fast. He thinks Fanmo is the kind of newly graduated mage whose legs go limp when he sees a monster. Yuang adds that he also thinks that it would take him at least half a year, but he didn't expect Fanmo to have such a good mental quality. They continue engaging in small talk as they drive back home. As Mo Fan walks home, he finds Shinchia by the phone booth. He walks up to her and hugs her. She tells him she tried calling him back, but he wasn't picking up. He responds saying he is a mage now, and she need not be worried for him. He tells her to make sure she protects herself, as he won't be by her side anymore. He goes on to narrate his ordeal at the school, how he dodged and dodged all the fire the orangutan shot at him, and how he finally defeated the monster. At the office, the captain informs them that their payment has arrived, and Mo Fan will be paid as a full member. He thanks everyone on the team for the honor. A man walks into the pool. As he goes, he stares lustfully at a girl lying by the pool. The water starts freezing up, and immediately, he tells Yuang that the master is looking for him. Yuang steps out of the water, and the man informs him that his ice stardust is getting stronger and stronger. Yuang says he is slow, as he'd take a year or two to move up to the next level. He further adds that he isn't as good as Ning Shui. The man advises him not to compare himself with Ning Shui, and that as long as he takes care of Mo Fan, his father will give him a big gift. Yu Eng meets his father in the house and inquires why his father would make him fight Mo Fan. His father explains that it would be fun and interesting. Instead of inviting a lot of rich and high-class people, they should spice it up a bit. His father says Mo Fan is no match for him, and it would be interesting to watch him fight him. His father admonishes him to take advantage of the duel to show the school and other families that he is the right candidate for the Holy Spring, as only one person in Bo City is chosen to practice in the Holy Spring. Some men converse about the duel coming up. They say that Yuang has to be careful because if Mo Fan wins the Holy Duel, he will be selected to participate in the Holy Spring. The man at the pool says it isn't possible, as Yuang would defeat Mo Fan. At the beginning, there is a great bluish light that shines from the ground to the sky. A one-eyed wolf arises from slumber. It seems ferocious and extremely scary. Mo Fan and his friend converse after class. He tells Mo Fan that Jo Min has been paying attention to him of late, and maybe she wants to date. He tells him that she is coming. Then he stands up and leaves. When Jo Min walks up to him, she asks Mo Fan if he'd be free tonight. Mo Fan thinks it's because he saved her during the training, and that's why she likes him. He tells her he'd be available. She is delighted, so she tells him she'll wait at the back of the school in the evening. Behind the school, Mo Fan wonders what they are doing in a place like this. He thinks to himself saying, people usually have their first dates in a small hotel or something like that, but he is shocked that Jo Mind likes these kinds of places. Jo Min tells Mo Fan about the tremors, and that the construction team has long since evacuated due to funding issues. She says her grandma lives near the construction site, and every night, the construction site makes a weird vibrating sound. She goes on to say that some people saw something unclean around the area. She's warned her grandma to move out, but her grandma says she wouldn't, since she has lived here for many years. She is worried her grandmother is in danger, and so she pleads with Mo Fan to come with her to see what's going on in the construction site, since he is the strongest mage in the school. Mo Fan is shocked that this is why she called him out, and not because she wants to date him. He goes through with it, swinging over a wall and going through a window till he is inside the building. Jo Min breaks through the door that leads to the ground floor and comes into the building as well. Mo Fan asks what time it usually starts to vibrate. He brings out fairy powder and starts to pour it on the floor. She asks him where he got the monster hunting powder from. She continues to ask more questions about how he knows how to use it, and how she heard that only hunter mages know how to use it. She asks him if there are truly monsters in the city. He responds by saying that there are, otherwise there wouldn't be a need for the urban demon hunting team. He sees monster footprints on the floor. Almost immediately, the one-eyed magic wolf crawls out at a distance, eating at something on the ground. Jo Min tells Mo Fan to get going. Mo Fan tells Jo Min that there is a large group of homeless people living here, and homeless people are not classified into the statistical population, so the wolf feeds off them. He asks her if the wolf looks looks different from the picture the teacher gave them. Jo-min pleads again that they leave, as it is scary. He tells her to get her grandma and should call the police to cordon off the area when she's farther from the area. While he is talking, she calls the police. The wolf sees them and immediately starts to chase them. Mo-fan carries Jo-min and starts running. He sarcastically asks her if the teacher teaches that monsters are extremely alert to various communication devices. He tells her that she just sent the wolf a satellite fix. They keep running, as the wolf continues to chase them persistently. They find a hiding place. He tells her to have fun and find her grandma, and warns the people on the street to run away. She asks him why he is procrastinating, and he replies saying he has his way, and she should go. They see the wolf above them, and as the wolf descends on them, he pushes her out of the way. She stands up and runs off, and Mo-fan is left to face the wolf. He and the wolf face themselves. He uses Gu-ri's power on the wolf, but it doesn't work. He falls to the ground. Jo-min is outside on the street. She has gotten her grandmother, and they are with a bunch of other people. The city hunters, Kai-tang and Yu-ang, arrive on motorbikes and ask her where her classmate is. She tells them there is a demon inside the building, and her classmate, Mo-fan, is still inside. Kai-tang asks her where the location is, and Jo-min says it's just ahead on the abandoned street. She runs off towards the abandoned street alongside Yu-ang. Mo-fan is lying on the ground, with the one-eyed wolf looking at him. As the wolf is about to strike Mo-fan, Kai-tang and Yu-ang show up, unleashing their elements on the wolf. They freeze the wolf's legs, trapping him in one corner. Kai-tang looks at Mo-fan's face and realizes she has seen him before. She reminisces on a time when he was staring at her through her window. She screams at Mo-fan to stop looking around and that he should get out of there before he gets eaten by this one-eyed magic wolf. Immediately, he gets up and takes to his heels. Yu-ang asks her if she knows Mo-fan. She responds by saying yes, and that he is Mo-fan, the lawless boy who got scolded by Uncle Mu Joyeon. Yu-ang says that he ran faster than anything else, and he wonders how he is the first-place student at Tiantan High School. He goes on to say that seeing how frightened he is now, the rumors about him killing the spirit wolf at that time may have been made up by himself. Kai-tang tells Yu-ang to leave Mo-fan alone and help her get the wolf under control. She says the wolf is stronger than a normal one-eyed magic wolf. Yu-ang shoots out ice tendrils in a bid to keep the wolf under control. Kai-tang contacts the captain, telling him that this is an advanced one-eyed wolf, and it is likely to be related to the energy overflow of the Holy Spring, which is extremely difficult to deal with. He arrives at the scene, and they ask him why he is late. Captain tells them to concentrate, as the wolf is a deadly one. They ask Mo-fan to use his power to paralyze the wolf's body. Mo-fan steps forward and strikes the wolf with thunder, but it doesn't work. The captain tells them he has requested reinforcement from the Association of Magicians and that Yang Zuohei is on his way. He admonishes them to continue to suppress the wolf until help comes. The wolf breaks free, and Kai-tang tells Yu-ang to release another layer of ice tendrils. As the wolf advances to the warlord level, Yu-ang advises that they withdraw immediately. The captain tells them not to panic, and that they should slaughter it before it transforms completely. He goes on to say that when it turns to a bone spur wolf, the streets behind will bleed like rivers. He tells Fei Shi to prepare for ground waves to slow down so that if the ice tendril is broken, it must not be allowed to run. The wolf continues to advance. The blood on its body is boiling, and the ice tendrils will not be able to hold it anymore. The captain makes a fire burst and consumes the wolf. They thank the captain, and they tell themselves that the captain has saved them once again. Yet again, when they think they have defeated the wolf resurfaces again and tries to attack them. The captain uses Huozi's burning bones on the wolf, but the wolf seems unstoppable. They continue trying, developing new ways to combat the wolf, but it all proved abortive. As Fanmo sees that the captain is hit and he's dying, he eventually uses the Lei Yin Kwangche to strike down the wolf with his thunder, confining it to an enclosed space. The team realizes that the wolf is afraid of thunder. Kai-tang tells Fanmo to beat it back to its original shape, as she sees it transforming. Fei Shi and Xiaokei take hold of the captain's arm and lead him away. Soon enough, it seems that the wolf has adapted to the lightning strike. The wolf slowly crawls out of the thunder confinement. The team screams out to Fanmo that he should run away, that the one-eyed magic wolf is too strong. Fanmo is adamant, telling the beast, let's see who goes down first. Yu-ang tells the team to run away, while Mo-fan holds the fort. The captain says if they continue fighting, only a few of them would die, but if they run away, hundreds of people in the city would die. The captain goes on to say that as the backbone of the urban monster hunting team, their awareness is not as good as a rookie. He tells Fanmo that he is doing well. He gets up, joins Fanmo, and fires the wolf. Kai-tang says the wolf must be slaughtered, lest the dignity of the city's hunting team would suffer. As the captain and Fanmo use their powers to attack the wolf, Kai-tang joins it, and soon, every team member joins. Yang Zuohei comes to the scene, telling Fanmo that he has done a good job, and that he should leave the rest to him. He runs towards the wolf, and uses a wind disc to fight the wolf, on and on, until he destroys the wolf and kills it. As he walks away, A similar yellow circular orb comes out of the wolf and enters Mo Fan. Mo Fan runs to meet with Yang Zuohei and asks him about the storm before, and the wind disc just now is both middle-level magic. They converse on and on about it, and why elementary magic is useless against monsters like this, and they were lucky he came on time. Back with the team, they suggest that they sound an alarm warning the city about the alarming rate of monsters appearing. It is most unusual for a one-eyed monster from the mountains to show up in the city. Mr. Yang kicks against it, as sounding the alarm would be quite terrifying. Mr. Yang asks when they add a new team member, as he is impressed by the abilities of Mo Fan. The captain says it's recruitment, and they all laugh at a joke, but Yuang doesn't laugh, but looks at Fan Mo suspiciously. When Mo Fan gets home, he looks around to ascertain no one is watching, then he tries to jump over his fence. Jo Min calls out to him as he is halfway through the climbing. He panics and falls to the ground. Jo Min meets him and hugs him. She thanks him for saving her grandma. She starts to cry, and Mo Fan consoles her, patting her on the back. Mo Fan sits on his rooftop. He takes out his amulet from his neck and looks at it. He shakes it a bit and wonders what is going on. He thinks to himself, saying the amulet looks like this since eating the one-eyed magic wolf spirit. Suddenly, it starts to glow, and he hopes he is making advancement. He remembers teacher Tang Yue saying that you can advance by eating essence, but he didn't believe it could be true. He rhetorically asks the amulet if it isn't a spiritual level magic weapon that can double the speed of his activation. He laughs out loud in exhilaration. He hopes with this, he can cultivate his magic to the 3rd level before he fights Yuang. In the morning, Mo Fan wheels Xinxia to see the sunrise. He hands her some money to buy a mobile phone and whatever she likes. He tells her that when she's in danger next time, she shouldn't hesitate to inform him. She asks him where he got the money from, and he replies by telling her that he earns money from a part-time job he's doing. He says it is easier for magicians to make money than ordinary people, not to forget that he is now a fire and lightning mage. He goes on to say that the last time there were monsters in her school, and she couldn't be contacted, it scared him a lot, so he tells her to keep the money and buy some nice dresses as well. Xinxia tells him she has good news. She tells him that she has awakened the healing system. They converse for a while about white magic, black magic, and dimensional magic. Then she tells him that she knows he's doing dangerous things, and she hopes she'll be able to help him sometime in the future. He tells her it's not dangerous at all. He just fights some monsters and catches some monsters. He tells her he hasn't seen the healing magic yet, and she responds saying hopefully she'd complete the 7 stars soon. Then he jokingly asks if she wants him to get hurt for her to practice the healing element on him. She reacts angrily, and he tells her he is only kidding. Mo Fan sits under a tree with his friend. His friend tells him that time flies by these days. Mo Fan tells him that time would run faster when someone trains during the day and hunts demons at night. His friend is puzzled at what he means by the hunt. Mo Fan quickly changes the topic of discourse by asking what magic university he hopes to enter. His friend responds by saying he doesn't know yet, and he desires to take one step at a time. His friend tells him it's almost time to make an appointment with Mu Zhuoyan. He goes on to say that he heard that this time around, the old fox specially recruited the famous people in Bo City. He adds that the duel is also held at Yuang's coming-of-age ceremony, intentionally to cheat Mo Fans. Mo Fan says it's going to be a big duel then. His friend says that no matter what he does, he'd be regarded as the first place in Tianyan High School. Teacher Tang Yue walks up to them, telling Mo Fan that the principal is calling him. Mo Fan responds by saying he has something to discuss with her too about fire magic. He asks that he come to her apartment tonight, and she affirms. The principal discusses Mo Fan about the duel with Yuang. He asks him all he knows about the duel, and Mo Fan tells him it is to celebrate the coming of age of Yuang. The principal tells him he's not correct. The principal goes on to tell him about the Holy Spring that is coming up, and that whoever wins the duel gets to represent Bo City at the Holy Spring. The principal adds that the cultivation level can be greatly improved because the Holy Spring is very rare and dries up with age. Bo City has a custom, and only the best young males will enter each year. The principal stands from his chair, facing the window, and tells him that he is the best student in the school, and Yuang has conquered the younger generations in the family. So in other words, the quota for the Holy Spring was created between Mo Fan and Yuang. The principal says he doesn't believe he'd win, but he should try his best and at least show his skills in front of people in the industry. Servants prepare the venue for the coming-of-age ceremony. The whole place is decorated and beautifully furnished. There are lots of food and drinks everywhere to eat and drink. 2 servants converse about happenings at the coming-of-age ceremony. They said they heard that Master Mu invited Mo Jiaxing, the former logistics driver, to the guest seat. The other replies asking if he didn't know that it is Mo Jiaxing's son, Mo Fan, who is going to duel Yuang. They say they're there to play a supporting role for Yuang, as his strength is above all his peers. One says that Mo Fan was with Miss Mu Ning Shui a few years ago. He whispers something into his colleague's ears. The recipient of the information concludes that Mo Fan has a face then. They continue gossiping, and one tells the other that Mo Jiaxing is so stupid, and his son is virtuous, as they walk away to carry out other tasks. In the sitting room, Mr. Mu talks with Ning Shui. He says Yuang is regarded as his single-handed cultivation, and he hopes in the future he can also become Ning Shui's right-hand man. She asks why he has to arrange a duel in front of so many people, and he responds, asking her if she is scared for Yuang or for Mo Fan. He tells her that Mo Fan is the best student in his school, and Yuang is the strongest in the family aside from her, so the duel isn't a small matter. He stands up and walks to the window. He says Mo Fan annoys him over and over again, and he'd never show him mercy. He says what he can give to Yuang completely outweighs what Mo Jiaxing can give to Mo Fan. Ning Shui stands up and walks away. He asks her where she is going, and she says she wants to walk around. On the top of a cliff, Mo Fan sits drinking from a can. As he overlooks the arena he would duel Yuang the next day. Ning Shui walks up to him and sits beside him. She says Xinxia told her where to find him. She asks what he is doing sitting on the cliff all by himself, and replies saying he came here to blow some air and to see how gorgeous his stage would be the day of the duel. He goes on to tell her that her family is rich and powerful, and she has a coming-of-age ceremony, and half the city's dignified people are invited. She advises him not to fight in the duel, as Yuang won't show him any mercy. Mu Fan asks her if she came here to take him away this time. She responds saying it is him who left. Mu Fan says he'd fight him tomorrow, and Ning Shui asks him if he doesn't hear what she's telling him. She tells him it'd be the assessment for Magic University in less than a month. If he fights Yuang, he'd hurt him so bad that he'd not be able to take the assessment. Mo Fan says she loves her father despite him being overbearing and annoying. He says he has to take the duel to humble Yuang so that people won't see his father as foolish. He reminisces on a time when Ning Shui's father maltreated his father. He tells her that now a great opportunity is presented to him to prove that his father is stupid. He wouldn't run away. On the day of the duel, Mo Fan walks to the ceremony ground. Lots of cars pass him on the road. The hunting team arrives as well, and they exchange pleasantries. Mo Fan walks up to them calling Kaitong his sister. She responds very rudely to her, and he remembers they wouldn't know him because he wears a mask and a hat whenever he goes hunting. The team except Kaitong thinks Mo Fan is Fanmo. When he goes hunting, he's known as Fanmo, but Kai Tang rejects the idea. Mo Fan is seen eating by the instructor. He makes a joke at Mo Fan and tells him to hang out with the army after the duel, but he turns down the offer. His classmates also meet him while he eats and talk to him about the duel. They ask him what he is doing here. He responds by asking them what they are doing here as well. They say they are here because the school received some quota of invitations, and they are here to cheer him on as he fights. One of them says he saw Mo Fan's father on the invitation list, and inquires if it is a mistake. He responds by saying it's a good thing his dad is here, as he wants him to see him win. He talks about how good his father would be for his father to watch his duel. Ning Xue's father gives an opening speech, announcing the ceremony officially opened. Everyone raises their glass, making a toast to the future of the city. He continues by saying that the atmosphere tonight is arranged for a duel. He says they should all join him as they watch the demeanor of young people in Bo City later. A vehicle steadily driving down the road arrives at the coming-of-age ceremony venue. Mo Fan's father, Mo Jiaxing, steps out of the vehicle. He walks in and sits down in front of other spectators. Ning Shui's father stands up and thanks everyone for showing up to the 18th coming-of-age ceremony of Yuang. He goes on to say that Yuang would show the proof of all his years in training. Some of the spectators say that Mr. Mu didn't even mention Mo Fan's name in his speech, and it's because he doesn't take him seriously. Mu Fan is just here to play a supporting role, and it doesn't count. Another says it's just a scene to set off Yuang. Yuang walks into the fighting arena. Mo Fan is already waiting for him there. They both bow their heads and shake their hands. They wouldn't let go of each other's hands. Yuang's hand starts to freeze, while Mo Fan's hand starts to burn with fire. Yuang thanks Mo Fan for being his sandbag, and he guarantees that he'll keep him in the hospital for about 3 months. They let go of their hands and walk away to the extremes of the arena. Mr. Mu signals to duel to start. Yuang brings out a second-level ice and targets it at Mo Fan. Mo Fan counters it with a first-level fire. Mo Fan fires more at him, and he realizes Yuang's speed has become faster all of a sudden. Kei Tang sees Yuang wearing a magic shoe that makes him move quickly on the ground. Yuang tells Mo Fan that this kind of second-level fire-type elementary magic can't do anything to him. He says if he's being honest, he doesn't want to waste any time with him here in the arena. He goes on to say that there are some people he should never mess with in his life. Yuang does some third-level ice magic. Spectators are shocked that Yuang has reached the third level within the space of of 1 year. Mo-fan starts to feel the pressure of the ice tendrils. Yuong tells him that his little flame can't resist the power of his ice tendrils. The fire around Mo-fan fails, and he falls to the ground. Ningshui's father is asked to call off the duel, and Mo-fan is freezing, and he replies by saying, "How can a fire magician be frozen to death?" He goes on to say, "Isn't there no point in winning or losing?" Many spectators talk amongst themselves, saying how it is possible for Yuong at 18 years of age to reach the 3rd level. Even many adult mages still can't use the 3rd elementary magic. Mo-fan tries to make fire stardust in the ice, but all to no avail. He knows that in a few moments, his body will be completely frozen, so he has to complete the 7 stars. Soon, the stars are complete, and it keeps the ice from him. The spectators are in shock, as everyone seems to be of different opinions. Mo-fan tells Yuong not to think he is the only one to reach the 3rd level. He throws the fire at Yuong. Yuong tries to escape with his magic shoes, but the fire catches up with him, causing a great explosion. Yuong tells Mo-fan that he didn't think he has cultivated to the 3rd level as well, and that even then, he couldn't still defeat him. He pulls away his cloak, throwing it to the ground, exposing his shining magic armor. Spectators begin to complain about the magic shoes and magic armor. They say Mo-fan should have Yuang with the counterattack. The instructor stands and shouts at Mo-fan to stand down, that he is no match for the magic armor, and he has surely shown his strength with his counterattack. Yuang tells him he can't win him, and that he should obediently accept defeat. He continues to trash talk about his father until Mo-fan gets angry. He starts to use his thunder element. The spectators are in shock when they see this. The hunter team finally realizes that they are right, that Mo-fan, whom they know as Fan Mo, is their Thunder Team member. Mo-fan tells Yuang that he shouldn't be deceived. His lightning is also on the 3rd level, and that is his true strength. He makes a thunderbolt and channels it towards Yuang. Yuang tries to run, but the thunderbolts catch up with him. He falls under the oppression of the lightning, and his magic armor breaks into pieces. He remains lying on the ground as the crowds cheer at Mo-fan in victory. Mo-fan stands a distance, fire coursing through his left fist, and lightning coursing his right fist. People at the Holy Court are shocked to hear that Mo-fan used the double talent strike on Mo Mansion. Mo-fan is summoned to be addressed by the Holy Court, but when he gets there, he tells them that they owe him an apology. They are indignant when they hear this. Joyun walks up to Mo-fan's father, kneels, and apologizes anyway. Joyun announces to the applause of the audience that the winner is Mo-fan, and that he now has a right to receive training at the Sacred Spring. The students meet at a diner to celebrate Mo-fan's victory. They express how much they long to have 2 talents just like Mo-fan, and their teacher, Mr. Zhu, adds that he has a bright future ahead of him with a lot of options, as many factions would want him on their team. He tells the students that even if they have just 1 talent, they should work hard with what they have, and strive to get to Magic College so they can hone their skills to the best use. A student asks Fan if he will be going to the Sacred Spring, and he affirms that he will. A group of underdogs has a secret meeting where the mole that was supposed to eliminate Mo-fan is being asked why the plan did not work. He explains to them that he did not expect him to have 2 talents, and that he will make up for it, and bring Mo-fan down. But the master is not willing to give him a second chance, so he punishes him for his failure. Feiyu walks with Xiaohu, willing to teach her how to release magic. He tries to clear her doubts which stop her from using her magic as she should. They stop in their tracks when they see Fan and Xinsha coming out of a shop. Xiaohu is upset to see this and concludes that they are on a date because they are shopping together. So Feiyu asks her if, in the same way, she can say that they too are on a date. She gets even more annoyed by the question, and ditches the shopping idea, announcing that they will go training instead. Meanwhile, Fan is asking Xinsha if she likes the bracelet she got during their time shopping. He cannot believe she bought a bracelet that looks funky. She tells him that it is special to her because they both picked it together as her birthday gift, and that she adored it. While they speak, Xiaohu joins them and asks to know why Fan has not gone to the Sacred Spring yet. He tells him that he needs to get his sister, Xinjia, a birthday gift before going. At this point, she urges him to go and wishes him luck in his training. Fan gets to the Sacred Spring and is welcomed by Joyun, who notes his tardiness. He is shown his training place and given his star chart card to release his magic at the appointed time. On his way, he is met by Mu Ningshui, who welcomes him and tells him that the guard of the Sacred Spring is tight about security because her sister went missing some time ago. He also informs him that he thinks the case is connected to the Sacred Spring because there have been some findings that point to the presence of Cyclops around the Sacred Spring. He tells Fan not to bother about the details and to concentrate on his training so he can be the second youngest Nebula Mage after Mu Ningshui. At the lab, the deputy captain meets the scientists to learn their recent findings. They tell her, much to her expectation, that a certain test liquid is similar to the water in the Sacred Spring, but that it provoked an opposite reaction. While the water from the Sacred Spring boosts powers, the test liquid incites rage and makes the consumer bloodthirsty. She notes that Cyclops usually hid from people, and that consuming the test liquid must be the reason why they are now ravaging the town. Fan checks into the sacred spring and sits there about to meditate when the energy in his pendant becomes excited and begins to twirl. He is puzzled by the action and tries to calm the pendant down, even promising to get another matching pendant to be its girlfriend. But within a short time, it calms, and he continues with his meditation. Mo Jiaxing arrives at a place where he is supposed to deliver goods. The goods were about to get ruined, but he made it on time. As he arrives, he meets two soldiers who inform him that his son made a wave at Mu Mansion, and that all the factions are trying to recruit him, even their boss, Zhang Kong. They ask why he is still working as a delivery man, and he says that his job is a difficult one that needs to be done by him. He tells them that his son's job and his are similar, as each one does what they need to do. The soldiers go to the rooftop and watch the rain from there. They notice that the color of the rain looks unusual, an appearance that could be likened to urine. While laughing about it, walks in and asks them if they have noticed anything unusual. They tell him that they have not, so he gives orders that they should be alert on the mountainside. Several red eyes appear in the forest, followed by the fangs and claws of Cyclops. Mu Ningshui and a female soldier walk out of the building. They promise to keep each other posted. Ningshui tells the female soldier to keep an eye on Fan because a week in the sacred spring might stretch him beyond his limit. She promises that she will do just that. While Ningshui leaves, he notes that the rain feels unsettling. The commander meets the soldiers in the sacred spring base and asks to know if Patrol 4 is back, but tells him that they are not back. The soldiers of Patrol 4 walk through the woods, looking out for any abnormalities. The chief light mage reminds the trainee light mage that their job is to always send a light signal in case of emergencies. He is still trying to explain this when the light mage is suddenly hijacked. They look to see what attacked him and find a Cyclops. The attacked light mage uses his last strength to release a light flare as a signal to the base. In the same way, the chief light mage also releases a light flare before being attacked. The rest of the soldiers in Patrol 4 hide in a cave and make a call to the base, informing them of what just happened. While they speak, the Cyclops hit the cave, splitting it open and attacking all the remaining members of the patrol team. After much contemplation, the soldiers in the base decide to announce Code Blood to the town so that all citizens can go into their respective homes to avoid being devoured by the Cyclops. In the spring, Fan tries to activate his star chart magic, but he does not succeed. He begins to contemplate how much time he has spent in the spring, if it is morning or night, and if his sister is doing well. Meanwhile, people in Bo City begin to respond to the alarm, running into their homes. Not long after, the Cyclops start a rampage in the city. Tagabsby tries to fight them off and recognizes one of the creatures as a Pterolicus. The mages at the Sacred Spring base are still fighting Cyclops at their base when they receive a call telling them that a horde of Cyclops is attacking people in town. The commander orders them to leave the base and go to the city to protect the citizens. He tells them that it should be their priority above other things, including the Sacred Spring. Mofan's father is done with his delivery and making his way back to the city. He notices the unusual rain. Unknown to him, there is a cuckoo behind his moving car. Mofan is still at the Sacred Spring, reminiscing on the lessons he had received to unlock his star chart magic. He thinks of the tips that Miss gave him during training and begins to imagine that she may be into him romantically. Mr. Joyun and his daughter, Ning Shui, try to run out of the base at the Sacred Spring, but realize that they are surrounded. She uses her powers to strike all the ones around them, but the one above strikes them, injuring her father. She then uses her powers to create a bird that takes her and her injured father away from the scene. The Black Curia meet again and talk about how they decided to use an aggressive approach because the person who was supposed to stop Mofan failed. They note that they could have stayed hidden, and that as they have come out in the open, the Holy Court will get to know about them. They intend to attack the base of the Sacred Spring, and they plan to use the city as a diversion, so that when the soldiers go out to the city to secure the citizens, they will attack the building that would be left unprotected. Still, at the Sacred Spring, Mofan is trying his best to connect the 7 orbits and activate his star chart magic. While he is at it, the building begins to shake. He goes to check and see what is going on and meets with the Cyclops. The Cyclops devours the guard in front of him and tries to attack him too when the deputy captain storms in and attacks the Cyclops. She uses an emergency routine to empty the spring into a bottle so that she and Fan can escape to dry land. She tells Mofan that the Sacred Spring has to be protected at all costs, and then goes ahead to explain how the Black Curia created the Spring of Rage and infused it into the rain so that Cyclops can be on a bloodthirsty rampage. He asks to know about how the city is faring in all these, and she tells him that she has no idea. The emergency escape route takes them to a hill just behind his former magic school. and he finds to his dismay that the school is filled with a lot of Cyclops, and there is no sign of humans around. A student is seen running away from Cyclops, while another group, a gang from school, hides in a corner. Their gang leader talks to the rest and recalls that there is a shelter close by that belongs to his uncle. He tells them that there is no point waiting out there because if the Cyclops did not eat them, they would die of hunger anyway if they stayed there for too long. He suggests that they run into the shelter and stay there for a while until the situation gets a bit better. While they try to run to safety, a horde of Cyclops attacks them one after the other until they all get eaten. Shinsha, Mofan's sister, rolls her wheelchair amid other students. She is also trying to run to safety, away from the menacing Cyclops. She is close to the safety barrier when a Cyclops closes up behind her. She panics a bit, but Feiyu intervenes in time to hit the Cyclops, save her, and get her into the iron barrier of the school. Back at the emergency exit, Mofan decides that he will go into the city to check on his family. The deputy chairman is unhappy to hear this because she expected him to be a little more selfless in his decision as a mage he is, but he is adamant about saving his family instead. He sets off to leave and makes his way to the city, but before he leaves, the deputy captain asks him for a very important favor: to protect the little bottle containing the sacred spring at all costs. She tells him that it is better if he protects it instead of her because it will be undetectable in his hands, unlike hers. She tells him that the military does not have the strength to deal fully with the Cyclops and that a way to contribute majorly to the fight will be to protect the sacred spring, so that the Black Furia do not get their hands on it and bring disaster to the world. He tells her that he does not care about the sacred spring and that his priority is his family. She asks him if he is the only one without a family and that every mage in the city is fighting to make sure that the citizens stay safe, and they do that despite having their families. She urges him to please consider the city too, and he does. He ends up giving her a photo of his family, telling her to take care of them if she sees them. With that, he parts with her and sets off to the city. Mofan's father narrowly escapes a Cyclop, and after driving further, meets a man whose car is faulty and happens to be stranded on the way. He picks the man up into his car and tells him that he is heading downtown to rescue his son. The man tells him that everyone alive will be at the safety barrier and that nobody is headed downtown at that time. But Mofan's father is adamant because he believes his son is downtown, so he tells the man to get down from the car if he is not willing to go, because he will go downtown anyway to save his son. At the base, the commander notices that the rain has stopped. However, he receives reports about the current situation in town, that casualties are on the increase without enough soldiers to fight off the monsters. He finds the news unsettling and decides that he will join the soldiers in the city, but Yang Zuhei insists on going on his behalf. After much hesitation, the commander lets him go and asks him to please come back in one piece. Back in school, the students try to use their magical powers to fight off the Cyclops. Two girls encounter a Cyclops and try to use the form-shifting magic to escape, but they only end up being eaten. Feiyu meets a group of girls running away from a Cyclops and intervenes using freezing magic. He tells them to hide if they can, and that they should not try to fight any Cyclops if they don't have to. He then tells them to go to the stadium. It will be safer there. While Feiyu and Xiaoyong are about to be subdued by the Cyclops, they receive intervention from Mo Fan, who steps in time to save them. They are excited to see him and begin to ask him questions about the sacred spring, forgetting the situation they are in. Mo Fan tells them not to ask questions because there is no time for chit-chat at that moment because of the situation they are in. He then tells them to head to the stadium. Other students will be at the stadium too. At the stadium, the students narrate their encounters with the Cyclops. Meanwhile, the teachers meet in a corner to talk about how to move to a safer place. One of the teachers suggests that the students are too many, and that they should all leave the students behind and run to the fortress, because the number of students will attract the Cyclops and cause even more casualties. Some of the kind teachers oppose the idea and scold her for coming up with such a selfish plan, while some others take her side. The rest point out that it would be cowardice to run away in such a manner. A teacher comes up with another plan to send a team of scouts to lead the way and secure the path ahead for others to follow behind them. The others think it is a very risky plan, but they also acknowledge that it is a good idea. They question him to know how they will come up with volunteers who will be ready to commit to such a dangerous task. He tells them that he has a set of outstanding students in his class who will be able to carry out the task properly, and that he will ask them and select the best out of them to volunteer and carry out the task. The teacher meets his class and tells them that he needs a set of volunteers to lead the way and clear a path for the rest of the students to pass through. He tells them that they are not under any compulsion to agree to it, and that if they don't want to be in the lead, they can join the train, which they termed the Exodus. The students consider the plan and begin to volunteer one after the other to be part of the lead team. Kun-san does not want to be part of the pioneer team because he believes people should clear the Cyclops from the path and then he would walk on a danger-free path. but his friend Mubai has already decided that he will be part of the pioneer team. He tries to talk Mubai into changing his mind, but he is adamant. When he sees that his friend will not change his mind, and that he will not be able to go without his friend, he decides to join the pioneer team too. Before going into the stadium, Fei Yu and Mo Fan listened from the door, hearing all that the teacher had just told them about each team and the need for volunteers. Fei Yu then asks Mo Fan if he will join the lead or the Exodus, and Fan tells him that the Exodus is a dangerous team to join. He tells him that although the Exodus has a number and the advantage of meeting an already cleared path, they stand at risk of being spotted easily by the Cyclops because of their number, and when the Cyclops sighted the students would not be able to do anything to protect themselves, not only because of their lack of skill, but also because of their fear and cowardice. Seeing this to be good logic, Fei Yu decides that being in the lead was the best option. So he walks into the room and announces that he and Mo Fan will be in the pioneer group. At that point, everybody turns to see them, surprise written all over their faces. They tell Mo Fan that they are both surprised and happy to see him alive and in the school instead of the sacred spring, but Fei Yu thinks they are referring to him and begins to gloat, only for them to correct him and let him know that they were referring to Mo Fan instead. The deputy captain, Lin, is seen running from a Cyclops that seems to be gaining on her. She tries her best to use her magic against him, but she has very little stamina left, so she is unable to strike properly with her magic. While she struggles, Yang, who was sent out by the commander to lend a hand in the city, happens to be around at that time and helps her to defeat the Cyclops. They talk about the Cyclops a bit, and they both agree that the outbreak was caused by the Black Furia and that they needed to be stopped at all costs so that the attack could end. He then asks her about the sacred spring and if she remembered to extract it from the mountain base so that the Black Furia would not get to it, as they had the capacity and the desire to use its power to cause harm. She tells him that she did extract the spring and that she gave it to Mo Fan because it will not occur to the Black Furia members that the spring is with a student instead of a soldier. She also tells him that Fan is headed to the city, and although she doesn't know his exact location at that time, she knows that he intends to go to the School of Magic to meet his sister. Yang agrees with her that she made a good decision by giving the sacred spring to him, and that they needed to look for Fan to give him back up and make sure that the sacred spring reaches the right hands without being tampered with. He then suggested to her that they split up for their search so that they could get to him faster before the Black Furia. At the school, the students divide themselves into teams. The pioneer team, led by their teacher, Mr. Zhu, gird themselves up and prepare to set off and clear the path for the rest. They begin their quest, moving with utmost caution as they already know the danger that is lurking around. When they get to a newsstand, they notice a Cyclops, but the Cyclops disappears almost immediately. They spread out to look for the Cyclops. They try to no avail, and then they send Zhang Yilong to use her wind powers to skim through the area and see if there are monsters around. While she is carrying the task on her own, she receives an unfortunate strike on her back. Before she dies, she lets out a scream and then passes away. They are all dismayed and weakened by Yilong's death, but Mo Fan addresses them and urges them to stay strong and continue their duties. The teacher asks to know how Mo Fan always manages to stay calm through every attack, and he responds by telling him that he joined the city hunters at a very young age. During his time as a city hunter, he fought many terrific and scary monsters, and by doing that, he learned to deal with fear. The last member of the team that went scouting returns to tell them the safest route to follow, and the places that have Cyclops. Using the information he had just gotten from the scout, Mo Fan plots a strategy to clear every monster in their way and forge ahead. He then assigns duties to each member of the team according to their personal strength and peculiar magic, whether wind, electricity, earth, or ice. Their teacher, who has been listening through, tells Mo Fan after he is done speaking that he is impressed with the plan and that he is happy that he was able to calm and unite everyone, despite the gravity of the situation. Xiaohu has been asked to distract the Cyclops at the fountain so that the rest can kill it off and clear the danger before then. He tries to come up with a plan that will help her distract the monster without being harmed, and at the same time help the rest of the team kill the monster. He remembers that Mo Fan earlier told them that the monster they were about to meet did not run very well in a zigzag course, so Xiaohu decided to run in a zigzag pattern to slow the monster down. Xiaohu is still trying to plot his steps when the monster turns and sees him. The monster charges at her with a very high speed. At that point, he remembers her plans and acts on them immediately. However, when they get to the woods, the monster begins to use the trees to bounce and gain speed. Xiaohu realizes this and knows at this point that running in zigzags will do him no good, but he keeps running anyway. The monster closes up almost immediately and strikes him from behind, hitting him to the ground and leaving an injury. Xiaohu sits injured in a corner as the monster walks menacingly toward him. He is really scared and praying that not die, and that someone will step in and save him, but he chided himself thinking that he was alone at that point, and no one could help. He also thinks about the fact that if the monster kills him, it will go after his teammates next, and the thought upsets him. So he decides to use a special tactic to subdue the monster. As the monster charges towards him, he uses wind magic to move things and strike the monster. The monster goes down much to the satisfaction of Xiaohu. He is pleased to have used the third-level magic called Fleeting Shadow to strike the monster. The strike slows down the monster a bit, giving him the chance to carry out the next step of the plan. He lured him into a zone with sharpened rods and used his magic to make a clone of himself. He made the clone run in front of the monster to make it think it was him. The minister then followed the clone into the zone filled with sharpened rods. The rods pierced the monster, and it met its end immediately. Xiaohu is very delighted to have killed the monster, called the One-Eyed Wolf. He is even more proud because Mofan had killed one himself, and he couldn't wait to tell him that he too had been able to kill a one-eyed wolf. By the time Xiaohu returns to the other team, he is already weak, so he passes out beside them. The other teams are having a hard time defeating the monsters they are fighting with. My Bai's team tries to fight with ice and freeze the monster, but they cannot hold off for long, so they run back to Mr. Shu's team. Fei Yu, on the other hand, is trying to fight with thunder, but he too cannot keep up. The sight of Mu Bai running back to the team fearfully with a monster in pursuit fills Mofan with rage so much that he destroys the monster with his magic on a whim. The rest of the team watches in amazement, wondering how and when he got that powerful. Mofan's father is driving with the man he picked up on the road when suddenly the car stops on the way. He goes out to check the paper and realizes that the tire of the car got deflated. He is sad to see this, so he goes to the passenger seat to inform the man about what happened. The man tells him to fix it and then remains in the car. Mofan's father struggles on his own to fix the tire, and then when he can't, he goes back to the car to ask the man for help, but he is surprised when he gets to the seat and does not find anybody there. He begins to wonder where the man might have gone. Mr. Zhu is excited to learn that the 3 one-eyed demons have all been defeated. He tells them that it is so impressive that other teachers will not believe that his class single-handedly defeated 3 one-eyed wolves. A student points out to him that their success was to be attributed to Mofan, who came up with a great plan that led to their success. Mofan argues that he would never have been able to do anything without them. He recalls that the monsters he killed were first weakened by Mu Bai and Fei Yu, and so killing them was just to finish off what they started. He tells them that teamwork is important, and that earth, wind, and water mages would all work in their different ways to combine forces and keep safe. He reminds Mu Bai that he is the most powerful mage among them, and that he should control his ice powers, and use them to protect everyone around. He tells him not to think of using it to freeze monsters that move at an unusual speed, but Mu Bai's friend picks an offense, and asks why Mofan wanted to suppress Mu Bai's powers when he could be using them greatly. Mofan responds, and tells him to close his mouth, or he will make sure that after their escapade with the monsters, he never speaks again. He tells Haikyuu to work with Mr. Zhu, and he immediately feels scared because he was not able to use his magic properly earlier. But Mr. Zhu encourages him to use his powers anyway, because he knows that, because of the fear, Fei Yu is a very powerful mage too. He tells them that the reason Mofan is so strong is that he joined Ed the Camp Hunters at a young age and learned to build his power there. He asks to know if Xinglu will be alive again if he uses his magic as supposed, but the teacher tells him that he cannot blame himself for another person's death when he did not do anything to cause it. The rest tell him to do away with the mentality of weakness, as it would only be a weak point for them as they fight. They tell him to develop strong confidence so that he can fight better and help the team. At that time, Xiaohu wakes up back to consciousness, and they all run to attend to him. They note that he needs immediate care to stop the bleeding, so that he doesn't die. Mr. Zhu tells them that they will need a hemostatic to stop the bleeding, because fire or bandage treatments will not work in that case. They ask to know how they will even get any such treatment, and he tells them that there is a pharmacy just up ahead, so that they can head there and get treatment for Xiaohu. He tells them that after getting the hemostatic, they will head to the protective barrier for safety. No Fam decides to go and fetch the hemostatic himself, but Xiaohu tries to dissuade him, telling him that he is not worth the trouble. But Mofan reminds him that he is just as important, because without him weakening the monsters, he would never have stood a chance of killing them successfully. He then bids him farewell and goes on to get the hemostatic for the treatment. As the monsters continue to disturb the city, Kun-san uses his wave detection skill to check the area and finds that there are no monsters nearby. The rest are happy to hear that because it means that they can go to the end of the street for the hemostatic without being attacked by monsters. Kun-san carries Xiaohu on his back with the rest beside him as they head to their meeting spot, where they are to wait for Mofan to bring the medicine for Xiaohu. They ask if he is comfortable on Kun-san's back, and he tells them that he is a little uncomfortable, but that he will be fine because Mofan is going to bring the medicine he needs and be alright again. While they walk down the street, Mubai tells them to beware because the street is too quiet, and there is a chance that something bad is about to happen. Mr. Zhu concurs with Mubai, and further warns them to be cautious. They all agree, and recall how Mo Fan used to tell him that in a jungle with many monsters, silence was a sign of danger. They continue to walk with caution, until Mubai halts them. He proceeds first to check out what he was sensing, then he beckons on the rest to come to see what he just found. They join him, and find another monster that is 10 times bigger than the other ones that they had fought before. Mubai recognizes the monster, which is called the Horn-Face Monster. In another scene, a woman is seen trying to run with her children when she is intercepted by the monsters. Luckily, the deputy captain, Lin Yuxin, is around and strikes the monster with her magic. Another monster emerges, and Lin panics, not knowing how she will fight off both of them at once. She is still standing transfixed when a huge beast storms in and scares the monsters. She looks at the rider and finds instructor Bai Yang sitting on the beast. She is happy to see him and thanks him for saving her life. She asks him what he is doing around, and he tells her that he is going to rescue a particular student. Hearing this, Lin tells herself that it is better not to disturb him with the details of the sacred spring, but instead look for Mo Fan on her own, so that the instructor can go on his quest without any interference from her. Besides, she intended to draw the attention of the Black Curia and have them think she was with the sacred spring, so that she could buy time for the people on her side. She tells him that she will be able to handle things by herself. He tells her to go on and be careful while she is out there. With this, he bids her farewell and goes away on his beast. Mo Fan is seen running. He gets to a door and begins to reminisce about the times he spent with Xiaohu in the past. How Xiaohu asked him if he liked Bo City, and he affirmed and told him that, although he liked the city, he would love to go to a proper magic school. He tells him that he wants to go to a fun and bigger city to experience new things there. In the end, Xiaohu promises to work hard so he can be with his brother too. Mo Fan's friends are still hiding from the horn-faced demon, and they identify it to be a warrior-level demon, and that it is dangerous for it to look them in the eye, let alone fight them. They are scared that Mo Fan might meet the same kind of demon and have to deal with it alone. The thought of it makes them begin to panic. Mo Fan finds the pharmacy and proceeds to begin looking for the hemostatic. While he looks for it, he notices a hole in the ground and goes to check out what must have caused the hole. He sees a monster below, feeding off the body of a person he had killed. Unknown to him, the monster is a commander-level monster. When the monster senses his presence, he turns to face him. It provokes an emission of a heat ray that almost burns through Fan. He dodged into another part of the pharmacy, which he noticed to have the hemostatic agent that he was looking for. The monster tries to rise and go back to hunt Mo Fan, but the fangs of another monster that is 10 times bigger appear out of nowhere, grabs the smaller monster, and eats him easily. Mo Fan, who is watching from a hidden corner, is frightened by the sight. He recognizes the bigger monster as the three-eyed wolf. He is very scared because he has never faced a monster like that before. He is still trying to contemplate his next move when he senses a presence above him. He looks up to find the three-eyed wolf staring down at him. Luckily for Mo Fan, he averts his eyes just in time to jump off when the monster is going to strike him, thinking he is lifeless. The team has gotten to the rendezvous point. They have been waiting a very long time for Mo Fan, who doesn't seem to be forthcoming. They argue amongst themselves, trying to decide what must be done. Some think they should move on, and some think they should wait for Mo Fan. One of them mentions that he is already dead, and that they should move on, because he mentioned that the living always has to move on and let go of the dead. But the rest are not having it. They tell her that they will wait and die with him if it comes to that, because they couldn't get to the protective barrier by themselves anyway, and that would still mean death. While they were still arguing about whether to leave or stay, Mo Fan climbs out of a hole, shocking his friends yet again. They are happy and surprised to see him, and he tells them that he almost lost his life. When the teacher tells him that he shouldn't have gone in the first place, he reaches into his pocket and brings out the jar of hemostatic agent, telling him that the risk was worth it for the sake of the medicine. The teacher collects the medicine and administers it to Xiaohu, who recovers immediately and thanks Mo Fan for the medicine. Mo Fan is very excited to see that Xiaohu is back up and then tells them that it is time to depart. Meanwhile, the Exodus team of students is making their way down the path that was cleared for them by the Pioneer team. They notice dead monsters strewn around the place, and then they spot Zhang Yinglu, where the students laid her to rest after her death. They begin to panic, remembering that she was one of the members of the Pioneer team. They feel that if a member of the Pioneer team is unable to make it alive, then all hope is lost for them. Their teacher tells them not to panic, but to be wise and strong, and that if they all work together as they should, they will be able to reach the protective barrier safely. They draw strength from the words of their teacher and agree that they will not give up or let the work of the Pioneer team go to waste. They decide that they will fight too and make sure they make it. The teacher suggests to them that they carry Zane's body with them as they go, and they do. At a certain time, The monsters all stop what they are doing and begin to growl. This is when Mo Fan and his team are close to the protective barrier. He tells them that the surroundings are a bit safer around there, and that their only challenge would be crossing the moat just ahead. He touches the vessel bearing the sacred spring and sighs to be assured that he is still with us, and everything is safe. They are still on their way when they notice a beast in front of them. As they get closer, they notice that the rider is someone they know. It is Inspector Bai Yang on the beast, and they are relieved to finally see someone from the military. He demands that Mo Fan hand the sacred spring over to him, but he refuses. He then threatens Mo Fan with death for refusing. In the first scene, monsters are climbing a tower. The monsters are being shot with fiery magic by the mages, but the mages are being overwhelmed. If this goes on, they will lose Weifeng Mountain. The mages scream as they try to push the monsters back. At the top of the tower, word has reached the leader that one member of the 4th Patrol Squad has returned alive. The leader is glad someone was able to return from the exhibition to the outside. He asks his men to take good care of him. At the same time, in the town, refugees are trying to escape. Numerous women, families, and children are going out to survive. The army is letting them enter safe shelters, but the number of refugees is too much, and the area is getting congested and chaotic. A soldier complains about the state of things to Mr. Mu while he's being treated by the nurses in the clinic ward of the shelter. The soldier tells Mu that he should take this opportunity to rest a bit. Mu thanks him, and then gives the soldier an instruction to set up a room, so Mu and his daughter can stay in a suitable place to rest. Mu's daughter, Ning Shui, is standing in the ward with her dad during this conversation, but her mind trails elsewhere when she hears some soldiers talk about the people from Sky Magic High School on the way to their current location. She is scared because she knows the danger that awaits the people who are on the journey. As she tries to run out of the infirmary, her father stops her immediately, telling her that if the army, with all its numbers, is not able to help the people outside, what does she hope to accomplish? Ning Shui does not back down though. She tells her dad that she should try and help in some way, instead of sitting idle in the infirmary. Mu stubbornly chooses to keep his daughter in place. He instructs the soldiers to monitor her so she won't leave the infirmary and be in danger. His unwilling attitude shocks Ning Shui, who stares at her dad in disbelief. In the next scene, Fan Fan and the rest of the students from Sky Magic High School have been blocked by a strange man on a massive archwolf. Fan tells the man that there is something deeply wrong with him, while the strange man laughs. He tells Fan that his perceptive ability surprises him. Unlike Fan, many people who were killed by this strange man failed to realize that it was him who killed them. The man laughs to himself. His laughter enrages the other students who want to attack him, but Fan tells them to stay away from him. The strange man on the archwolf smiles. He tells Fan that he has an interest in the students, but he wants something in Fan's possession, the sacred spring. He tells Fan that if he gives it to him, his life will be spared. Fan suspects the man, who turns out to be his instructor, is from Black Curia, but the instructor tries to reduce his fears. Fan reminds him of their first training session. At that time, a massive archwolf was killed by Mo. Afterward, the other teachers told this evil instructor, and he was shocked. He rushed to go check on the archwolf. This action made him suspicious. After this, Fan remembers being briefed that the Black Curia created a violent spring, which is similar to the sacred spring. The violent spring makes monsters violent and behaves maniacally. Back to the present. The evil instructor tells Fan it is fine if he says nothing. One way or the other, the instructor believes he will get the sacred spring. Fan is unafraid. He tells the evil instructor that just like previously, he will defeat the archwolf again. The teacher smiles. Then he summons 2 dark beasts which arise from the ground beneath to attack the other students. Fan worries for his colleagues, but because of this, he is distracted when the archwolf pounces on him. It lands on Fan with ferocity. Xiaohu, one of the students, tries to help Fan, but a black beast swings at him with its claws. Xiaohu is scared. He feels blood on his face, but he is surprised to see he was not hit by the beast. Instead, someone used magic to protect him. Xiaohu turns back to see Haikyuu has been killed by one of the beasts. Her protection magic fades, and then the beast tries to lunge at Xiaohu once more, but this time, he is saved by the other students who use their diverse elemental powers to get rid of the beast. Xiaohu rushes to Haikyuu. He is crying while he asks her why she chose to protect him instead of protecting herself. She tells him it is because he is someone very important to her. She smiles and then fades away in his arms as Xiaohu cries. As this goes on, the instructor laughs at Fan. He tells him while he is stuck under the archwolf, the other students are being killed. He then summons 2 new dark beasts. The instructor smiles in delight at the current situation, but immediately after, Fan uses magic to throw the archwolf off him. The instructor laughs at his skills, then tells Fan He only has one more lesson to teach him: never trust anyone. The instructor tells Fan that if he wants to save his friends, he will have to give him the sacred spring. Fan's friends try to defend themselves, but are easily defeated by the dark beasts. Because of this, Fan removes the sacred spring from his pocket to hand it to the instructor. The sacred spring is in a little bottle. Fan walks. He chooses to drink the sacred spring from the bottle. This action shocks everyone. Fan tells the instructor that if he wants the sacred spring, he will have to kill him first. He goes on to use an attack, Roaring Thunder, which fires a massive lightning bolt, and he uses it to incapacitate the Archwolf briefly. The other students try to help Fan by distracting the other monsters, and their plan works. Mo uses another skill, Hiss of Fire Cremation, which creates a massive fireball to destroy the black beasts. It will burn them till they die. Another student, Jo Min, added her level of skill, which increased the intensity. While this was all happening, an Archwolf jumped from behind Jo Min. It fired a wind attack which hit her head. Fan is shocked to see the beast back in such a short time. The beast pursues Fan, repeatedly firing wind attacks at him. As this was going on the battlefield, another instructor managed to sneak to where the evil instructor was. The evil instructor's name was Bai Yang. This instructor is still reeling from the fact that Yang is evil, but steadies himself. As Yang is distracted by Fawn, the instructor uses a blinding attack to block his sight, and then Fawn uses the opportunity to fire another Roaring Thunder attack at the Archwolf. Yang brings out another dark beast, but the teacher tries to use his skill, Blinding Radiance, to try to purify the dark beast, but it does not work. Yang laughs at his ignorance, but because of this, he is not able to shield himself from the black ice sword attack of one of the students. The attack deals massive damage to Yang. It kills him instantly. The battle is over, but no one celebrates while Xiaohu keeps crying as he holds Haikyuu. After the battle in the previous episode, Fan is feeling tired. He staggers, but his fellow students hold him up. Fan tells them that he is okay. A blue mist rises from the dark beasts, and the teacher explains to his students that it is because once their owner dies, the beasts also die. Fan tries to comfort Xiaohu as he cries, but Xiaohu tells him that he wants to be more capable so he can defend other people like Fan does. As they talk, soldiers come from above immediately and tell the students they are glad to find them. The coincidence does not sit right with the students. They feel it is too suspicious because when the soldier arrives immediately, the danger has disappeared. Their instructor tells them not to think much. Then he talks to one of the soldiers, Juohei. Juohei sees Haikyuu's body and exclaims that he and his soldiers have come too late. The soldiers notice Yang in the back and are alerted, but the students explain how Yang attacked them. Fan tells the soldiers that Yang is a traitor who is part of Black Curia. Juohei is okay with their explanation. He tells everyone to head back to the protective barrier, except for a few soldiers whom he wants to inspect the black puddles left by Yang's dark beasts. He tells his soldiers that the black puddles and Yang's body will be brought back to investigate as to whether Yang is a traitor. He feels it is important to not waste time in their current location, and his soldiers agree. The students are led by the soldiers, and Yang back to the protective barrier. In another town, the city has been overridden with different archwolves. The archwolves are eating bodies, killing people. Then above all of them on top of a tower is one which looks much more menacing. On the ground in the city, a group of soldiers are hiding. They wonder why they need to head to the sacred spring. Their leader sees the groups of archwolves. Apart from the typical ones, there are many thorn-faced wolves, which are bigger than typical archwolves, and they are also white. However, the worst is the one-eyed demon wolves, which keep coming near the Taralicus. The leader is lost at what to do, because no matter how many men they send, they won't be able to defeat this large number of archwolves. The soldiers are worried about where the one-eyed demon wolves arrived from. They wonder if it is space magic, but the leader doubts if the Black Furia could have learned that. Right now, many creatures are surrounding the Taralicus, so one of the soldiers says they should return to the protective barrier because the soldiers will be unable to get any closer to it. He tells the leader that they should leave immediately to report the situation. However, before they can take a step, the Taralicus notices them. It roars and then fires a massive blast at the soldiers. The soldiers all die instantly from the blast. Their dead bodies litter the ground. On the other side of the country, a group of students are happy when they receive news that the protective barrier is still up. They continue their journey. On reaching there, they see different people being treated, but at least the people are safe. On a tower within the protective barrier, the investigation on Yang's body has been carried out, and it has been proved that he is indeed a traitor. The doctor tells the leader this news and he is bemused. He calls Mo Fan and thanks him for saving the people he could. Fan is happy, but he feels annoyed because Yang, a member of the leader's soldiers, killed his friends. The leader tries to talk, but Fan is annoyed. He details how a few of his friends died because of Yang, but the leader tells him he had no idea of this. He is even shocked to hear of Yang's betrayal. He apologizes to Fan, and then tells him his friends were all capable, and they did not deserve such a death. He tells Fan he is proud to be their head instructor. Then Fan tells the leader that he drank the sacred spring. The leader does not find it funny. He holds Fan's mouth to try and extract the spring from it. His men try to calm him down, while Fan explains to the leader that he had to drink it, else it could have fallen into the wrong hands. After a while, the leader calms down. He tells Fan that the sacred spring should be gone. It brought more harm than good to Bo City. Fan asks what they should do since many other people are still stuck in the city. In no time, he believes they will be discovered and killed by the different beasts which are there. The leader tells Fan that many troops were sent to the city, and more than 1,000 one-eyed demon wolves have been killed, but still more keep on appearing. They do not know how or why the wolves keep on appearing, but the only option they have is to kill the leader, the Taurolicus. On hearing this, Fan is surprised. He asks if the leader is confident about facing the Taurolicus, but one of the soldiers tells him that their leader is a level 3 mage. He is the only one who is capable enough to fight against the Taurolicus in Bo City. The leader tells the soldier he has a 50% chance of winning, but if they are unable to get rid of the other wolves around the Taurolicus, there won't be any hope of winning. Fan on hearing this feels they are going to be killed, but the leader tells him even if it's just a tiny chance, they have to, because he won't allow monsters to keep roaming freely in a city he protects. He tells Fan he is happy, he is saved, he has massive potential. The leader tells Fan to remain safely in the protective barrier with his friends, and then he gives his troops instructions. All of them are being deployed to return to Bo City to kill the commander-level Taurolicus. This is the only way they can save the city. He tells them that they are the strongest mages of the city who have fought with him for many years, and it is either all of them die or the Taurolicus dies. The leader tells the soldier that no matter how powerful the Taurolicus is, since it chose to attack their city, they are going to kill it. He riles up his soldiers with his words, and they are ready to kill the creature. The leader removes his coat to unveil his white wings, then he starts flying away. His soldiers jump on giant birds to follow him immediately. Mo Fan watches them as they get further away. From a distance, Xiaohe watches as the soldiers fly to Bo City. For the last time he covers Fei Yu up. He thinks to himself, he says he will make her proud by becoming a strong military mage to help the city and save thousands of girls like her. In Bo City, a man is moving around looking for his son. He sees him under the corpse of a monster, but he is dead. The man is crying when another monster rushes in from behind. The monster is like a massive rat, and it pursues the man to a dead end. The man bends down in fright as the monster kills him. While this was happening, back at the top of the tower in the protective barrier, Ning Shui races to the top to meet Fan. She is glad he is safe, but her dad is just behind her. He sees Fan, and then wonders why his daughter sees this boy. He describes as a scoundrel. Mu tells Fan that he ignored the other students and only saved himself, but this enrages Fan. He defends himself, and then goes on to tell Mu that rich people like him could do more, but he is just here being idle. As Fan is talking, Ning Shui cuts him off. She asks him to please not criticize her father. Fan hisses and walks away, telling them he has more important things to do. Mo Fan's dad, who was attacked by a monster resembling a rat in the last episode, did not die but was saved by a mage. She asks to be certain of who the man is, and when he tells her, she is glad to have saved his life. Mo Fan's father faints in her arms out of exhaustion as creatures circle her. In the protective barrier, Fan goes into the data room to ask them to search for his family. The lady within searches for his location, but finds nothing. As Fan keeps searching, a soldier enters the room. He is surprised to see a student, but the female soldier tells him it's okay because it is Mo Fan. According to the information received from the soldiers, they find out that the creatures used underground means to bypass the barriers set up by the city. Now the key thing to do is find the tunnel and destroy their spawn channels immediately. As they talk, Fan remembers that the first location where the one-eyed rats were spotted was the cafeteria in the school where Xin Xia is. He also remembers that one of the students went missing with no traces in the school. Fan tells the soldiers he has a lead on the location of the spawn channels. He goes on to mention the city hunter team. The soldiers are perplexed. Fan explains that there were signs of the monsters for a while, the most obvious being the one-eyed giant rats. The female soldier seems to get it. She says the giant rats have a good ability to dig, hence they should be the culprits for the spawn channels. Jin believes that the records with the city hunters team, CHT, which shows the movement of the giant rats, will give them a hint of the location of their spawn channels. They contact the CHT, and their members come to the room immediately. The CHT arrives and then asks what Fan believes is the cause of the massive monster invasion. They tell Fan that they were with him for most of the missions, but did not come up with any lead. The soldiers are surprised to learn that Fan is a member of the CHT. Fan tells the soldiers that he joined the CHT to get stronger after realizing his weakness in the school's outfield practical training. The soldier tells him it is incredible. Then Fan goes on to request records of all the activities of the one-eyed giant rats. The other member feels that is preposterous because it is a huge tunneling project that will have had to connect the city to the border mountains. He tells Fan that this has to be something that has been planned for many years. A soldier calls out to Xiaokei, the female member of CHT who handles the database. The soldier asks her if she has been able to find the information they need. She has been able to track the common locations of the rats. Then they discovered the concentrated area is Mingwen District. If Fan's idea is right, that will be where the spawn channels will be found in Mingwen Girls High School. The male soldier instructs everyone inside the room that they will be deployed to go and find the spawn locations. From now on, he wants the soldiers and CHT to walk hand in hand to solve this. Then the meeting ends. Fan goes outside and worries about his family. He is concerned when he thinks they might not be inside the protective barrier. While he thinks, from a distance, someone calls out to him. Fan turns to see his dad, then he rushes in to hug him. He is glad that his father is safe now. While they hug, two of Fan's colleagues, Li Wen and Fei Shi, tell him that they found his dad and Lin Yuxin while on their way to the safe zone. Fan appreciates them and then asks for Yuxin's location. They hesitantly tell her that she sacrificed herself to save his father, and she stopped all the monsters as they attacked. Fan tells his father of the recent development regarding the location of the spawn tunnels. His dad starts to weep uncontrollably because Fan's sister, Xin Xia, attends Mingwen Girls High School, so he feels she might be dead right now. Xin Xia is weak, and her legs are inconvenient because of this. They feel she won't be able to escape. Fan still holds a bit of hope that she might be safe in a place in the school's vicinity. The next day, the soldiers and CHT gear up for their trip when Fan rushes in. He tells them he needs to go on this journey too, so he can save his little sister. Fan's classmates and his dad try to dissuade him, but his mind is made up. Fan's father cries, but he is unable to stop his son, who enters into the truck with the other members of the special unit. They drive away as Fan's classmates watch from behind. In the city, rats still come out of the tunnels, looking massive and scary. They are blue with one eye. In another part of town, in a mall to be precise, a group of people is hiding from the monsters. Shinxia is part of them, sitting in her wheelchair, remaining calm about the situation. As she sits, her classmate gives her a bottle of water to drink. The people in the location carry weapons and try to get ready to go and fight the monsters, but a woman tells them that they will be dead if they step out of the zone. A plumber among them tells them he knows how to walk through the underground tunnels, so they should try passing through there. The rest agree, and all of them rush to leave, but they are called back by Xia Xin's classmate. She appeals to them and reminds the people that Xia Xin is unable to walk. She asks if any of them will help her, but none of the other people want to assist her. They leave Xia Xin and rush out, which pains her classmate who tries to carry Xia Xin. Xia Xin refuses her aid, thanks her, but tells her to leave, otherwise both of them will die. Xia Xin asks her classmate for one favor. She hands a wristband to her and then tells the girl to hand it over to her brother Mo Fan. She is thankful for how much he cared for her all these years. She tells her classmate to go quickly, and the girl hesitantly runs away crying. Xia tries to get weapons from the supply room to protect herself. She sees some knives in the cartons and then reminds herself that everyone has the right to live. On the outside, the CHT and soldiers are in a car. The driver tells the soldiers that the car is moving at a speed that the monsters will not be able to reach. Officer Cheng, the leader of the soldiers, tells the team that it's up to them to defend the city. The driver tells Officer Chung not to worry, because he can rely on the CHT. They are prepared to die with the monsters. The driver jokes that even if it is to use his body to seal the channel, he is willing to do so. The other team members agree in unison. They are ready to give anything to ensure this mission is a success. While they discuss, Fan looks through the windows of the car to the outside. The landscape is desolate, filled with corpses and fallen buildings. Fan thinks about his sister and how scared she will be, but he makes a promise to her. He says, "Wait for me. I will come to rescue you." The team discusses what they will do. They do not want to go head-on, because if they are caught by too many monsters, they will die. First, a member of the CHT goes to scout. He uses his power Windwalk to scan the environment, but unfortunately, the giant rats spot him. As they get closer, he uses Wind Track to instantly blast the monsters in his front. They walk slowly, and while they scout the environment, they encounter new rats, but Chung uses his powers to instantly freeze and kill them. The speed surprises Fan, who learns about Chung's second-class rating as a mage. A member of the CHT tells Fan that Chung used a spell to freeze the rats so they wouldn't alert the others, and then the other to destroy them efficiently. The man tells Fan that he even has more potential than all of them. Fan agrees, but feels something is blocking him from attaining it. As they continue to walk, the team hears screams like that of a human asking for aid, but Chung tells them to ignore it. Fan wonders why they should ignore a person in need, but Chung reminds him that the mission comes first. They need to close the tunnels. Chung even tells Fan that even if it is a member of his family he sees in danger, no one will get involved. The CHT member with the wind ability returns and tells the others that all the monsters in front have been cleared up. The team continues their journey. As they walk, they encounter a man who has been beaten up. He runs and then falls. They look for signs of a battle, but see none. They figure out that the man must have tried to escape through the tunnels, but that is where the nest is, so he walks into hell. They continue their journey when Fan notices the band he bought for his sister on someone's arm. He immediately reminisces about when he bought it for her. Fan runs to check on the person, and is relieved to see it is not his sister, but the corpse of her friend from the school. He removes the band from her arms. A member of the team tells Fan that another body uncovered was wearing the uniform of the Mingwen Supermart, so that's probably where his sister is. The member suspects the corpses are of people who went through the sewers from the supermarket. They were probably killed by the rats as they tried to climb out of the sewers. Fan separates from them, and he wishes them luck as he runs to go save his sister. At the mart, Sia Shin is hiding from a group of rats that have invaded the mall. She hides as they search and eat. One gets close to her, but she manages to escape into an enclosed space unnoticed, but her wheelchair is destroyed as she tries to escape. She is stuck now, with nowhere to go. At the top of the city, witnessing the horrors taking place, are two members of the Black Curia. One complains of boredom, asking why their leader sent them to do surveillance. One says he is excited to see the blood river that will come from the city. They see a lighting mage fighting. The smaller one of the two wants to go fight him, but the bigger one on a mask instructs him to stay back because he has a personal score to settle. The smaller one tells him not to waste too much time. The scene changes, and now it's Mo Fan. He is fighting dark beasts and trying to evade their attacks. He finds his way to the supermarket, where he encounters the second member of the Black Curia. The man asks him if he recognizes him, and then goes on to remove the mask. Mo Fan is surprised to see the face behind the mask. It is Yuang, but the right side of his face is severely burnt, and part of his lips is missing too. He tells Fan that it is because of him that his face turned this way. Yuang narrates his bad past, and how Fan ruined his best chance to be acknowledged by the Order. He blames Fan for how his face became, then tells Fan that even if he does not recognize, he will always know who Fan is, even if he burns him to ashes. Fan asks Yuang if he is part of the Black Order as well, but Yuang does not answer him. He complains that he is only one step away from being promoted to the UHS, and he tells Fan that he will take revenge by ripping out his flesh. Fan smiles and then tells Yuang he is no match for him. Yuang tells Fan that he is not the only person with a trump card. Yuang then summons 10 dark beasts. The number of dark beasts makes Fan hesitate, and he moves back to calculate as Yuang laughs. Fan makes a break for it, but he's pursued by the dark beasts. He uses the skill Ignite, Flame Burst, to attack them, but it does not work. Fan runs to look for his sister, but the monsters keep pursuing him. As he fights, Yuang receives a call from the other member. He tells him that they've been instructed by the higher-ups to go to Mingwen Girls High to stop the military people. Yuang hesitantly leaves. Fan is surrounded, but he unlocks a door behind him to get away from the beasts. He looks at the cameras behind him in the room, then he notices his sister's location. Shinsia is still stuck and scared of the monsters. Fan tries to think of what to do. He is surrounded by dark beasts that are hammering at the door while his sister is stuck. He remembers that the rats have poor sight. Most times they use their eyes to detect heat activities. This is the reason Shinsia entered the refrigerator. She is trying to survive. Shinsia gets out of the elevator because of the cold, while the monsters keep hitting the door to get to Fan. Fan says he needs to break through his limits so he can become strong enough to protect his sister. He uses his powers to evolve from Stardust to Nebula. Immediately, he gets stronger. Now a fiery field covers him. He fires one blast which destroys the monsters. A rat finds Shinsia and dives at her, but she stabs it in the eye. The others come and then feast on the monster. Shinsia tries to get away, but the monsters find her. She gets scared. Immediately, the rats are burned up, and afterward, Fan picks up his little sister. He is glad she is still alive. She tells him that she is scared she will not ever see him again. Fan hands her the bracelet, then asks if she remembers his exact words when he gave it to her. She laughs, and then says the words he once told her. This bracelet represents the unique position you have in my heart. Fan tells his sister that no matter what happens, he will always find her, and then he carries his sister out of the mart. As Fan is walking all the archwolves away from him, they are scared that if they get close, he will end them immediately. Xinxia asks Fan if he is a star chart level mega now, to which he replies that only his fire is star chart level at this point. At this level, all the low-level monsters will avoid him, but the higher ones will not. Fan takes his sister to a chair so she can rest. Xinxia tells Fan about the day when someone went missing in her school. She tells him she does not think it is monsters that kidnapped the girl. Rather, she believes it was a strange man sighted that same day. This man was gray, smelt like rot. She said she also noticed that same smell in the mall too. Fan figures out that it is the Black Curia. He feels bad because he thinks that the girl was secretly killed because she discovered the entrance to the tunnels. Xinxia tells Fan that she believes the Black Curia group sent people to investigate the tunnels. This worries Fan, and then he thinks of what to do. Firstly, he wants to send his sister through the protective barrier. Xinxia notices that Fan is injured, so she heals him. Fan excitedly picks his sister up and tells her she is the first healing mage in Bow City. He manages to set her well on a bike. Fan tells his sister that many people within that protective barrier will need her help because her magic healing skill far surpasses most medicines. Fan asks his sister if she can heal someone whose neck has been deeply slashed, and she replies that she can help, but only in a situation where the person does not die from the cut. Fan understands and reminds himself that no magic is perfect. Fan asks Xinxia if she saw any strange holes inside her school. Xinxia tells Fan that as she tried to escape from the school, she saw a massive hole in the middle of the field. Xinxia asks Fan what he plans on doing now. Then he goes on to explain that Bow City is his home. He tried to learn magic because he wanted to be successful, and he had plans to build a good life for her and his dad, but now the city has been destroyed. Fan takes another look at the city which has been laid to ruins by the monsters. This infuriates him, but he only wants to protect his sister and dad. He tells his sister that he wants to protect the city by destroying the monster entrances, and she closes his mouth to tell Fan that she wants to assist him. The CHT and the soldiers rush to the entrance. On reaching there, they see a giant pit. The pit is in the center of a school, and giant rats are emerging from it. Cheng immediately tells the soldiers that they need to seal the hole immediately because there is no need for reinforcement. They use their powers to seal the hole, but the monsters push it back open. Chung screams that they should keep trying with all their powers to push the monsters back home. The team had different attacks ranging from earth to fire, water, and ice at these monsters, but to no avail. In the distance, the two Black Marie members look at the situation close to the hole. They see the team. Both Black Marie members jump down from the building they are stepping on so they can go to kill the soldiers. On the other side of town, Fan and his sister are riding through town without any hassle because the low-level monsters are avoiding him. It does not take long before he meets a thorn wolf. It is bigger, nastier, and tougher. Fan turns around immediately and accelerates the bike to escape the thorn wolf, but the plan does not work. The wolf stands on its hind legs and then starts pursuing the bike. Fan makes a turn at a corner and hides before the wolf sees him. Shashin tells Fan that the monster is really scary, and Fan agrees. They both try to take a breather. Fan tells Shashin he does not know how he will be able to defeat the thorn wolf. Shashin narrates her ordeal to Fan, thanking him for his aid thus far, even for how he created a safe path for the people in her school. Shashin says she has always been someone who hid. Fan understands how she feels when she is lonely and weak. Xinxia asks if the rest are okay, and that some people were truly unlucky. Then Fan explains to her that many people have died in their circle. At the site of the pit, the soldiers keep using different attacks on the large number of monsters. As they keep trying, members of the Black Korea intercept them. One of them tells the soldiers that they should run immediately. They are too weak to defeat the monsters themselves. Yuang reveals his face, which Chung instantly recognizes. He is shocked to see what Yuang has become. Yuang and the other members try to attack the soldiers, but the soldiers use their abilities and intelligence to get rid of both of them. On the other side of town, the best mages have finally arrived at Bow City. The Teralakuso notices their presence, goes to the back of the rest of the wolves, and then orders them to attack the mages. The wolves' numbers are in the thousands. The leader of the mage wants to fight, but he is stopped by one of his men. He asks him to preserve his energy for the final boss. They will create an opening for him so he can fight the Teralakuso on one. The leader walks through the horde as each of his men use their powers to destroy the thorn wolves. One by one they lose their life for him till he finally reaches the Teralakuso. The leader screams in agony. It flies up and he follows it. It fires a beam at him, but it does not face the leader. The leader flies up and then uses zodiac magic, Heavenly Burial, a skill that brings down a fiery hail. The monster tries using its wings to protect itself. Then the leader flies into the monster head-on to deliver a terrible blow. Fan and Shin shall witness this battle from afar. They marvel at the level of power the leader possesses. Then they hurry to the site of the hole. When they arrive at the hole, they see that a thorn wolf is blocking the path of the team of soldiers. The wolf is strong and slowly walks toward the members to kill them. As the team fears for the worst, they are saved by Fan. He uses his anger and newfound strength to fire a massive attack at the monster. The attack works, and it pushes the monster back into the hole. The hole gets covered too. After the hole is covered up, the sky becomes clear. Everyone wonders if this is the end.